Hello again, YouTube. I will be recording now the sealed run for the Qualifier Day 1 for Lost Caverns of Ixalan Limited. In the previous video, we qualified to this stage via the qualifier plane, and now it's Day 1. And I'll just get straight into it. So this is the pool that we get, which by rares, we get Buried Net, Souls of the Lost, Queen's Bay Paladin, Pugnacious Hammerskull, Tavern Soulcleaver, and Roaming Throne. So some solid cards over here for rares, but also nothing completely broken. I am a fan of Braided Net, especially in tempo decks, but the card is not a bomb or anything like of the sort. It's just like a solid card. Souls of the Lost is pretty good in Descent decks, so that's something to keep an eye on. Queen's Bay Paladin, it's definitely not a bomb either. It's nice to return an Echo of Dusk or something like that. The life loss from returning stuff also hurts, so it's not free or anything of the sort. It can be a good card, but it is definitely not something that stands on its own. This one I really like. 3 mana 6/6. Sign me up every day. There is a downside that you need dinosaurs, and that's not always guaranteed in sealed. But still, even just a 3 mana 6/6 is just like a Lovestruck beast. Even if it doesn't attack, it's just like very obnoxious and a big fatty boy over there. And even without dinosaurs, this can still get in. So with a downside, of course, but just saying, like, you attack when you want to attack, and if you have dinosaurs, then it's completely broken. So looking forward to playing that. This rare is unplayable in my side. And then Roaming Throne, which is pretty much going to be a card you will always play in sealed because it's colorless. 4 mana 4/4 Ward 2 is already very good. And if you can name a relevant creature type and double an ETB, then you can start to do some very nice things. But still, it's not a card that's going to completely ruin a game like some other bombs that we have in this set. So those are our rares. Now let's take a look at the pool. And personally, I'm really proud of how I built this pool and how I navigated the games, because this is not an easy pool by any means. If we sort by mana value over here, we don't have a lot of playable early drops. Like Lore Keeper is good if you have a good dinosaur deck, and then Deadweight is nice. Then we have some other good removal things, but nothing like to play to the board. And we do have a few cards that we can play to the board. There's white in the beginning, but look at this. Then in blue we only have 2 creatures. In black we have 1 creature, and 2 creatures. Sorry, we count souls. And then 1 Tithing Blade. For red we only get Volatile and Walnut Glyph. In green we have nothing on the 2-drop slot, and then Soyowa. So if we play red black, we would get that. But look at this; it's just like really only white is providing some early plays, and the rest of the colors are like completely naked in that regard. So there's definitely going to be some juggling happening over here. It's not going to be an easy pool, but let's take a look at it a bit through colors. So white, we said that could have some early game, but not something super spectacular. So we get Sunscribe, Aspirant, and then triple Crackshot, which is like a fancy bear. The ability can be sometimes relevant. I do like a lot the Clay Fired Bricks and the Spring-Loaded Saw Blades. If we are aggro, Saw Blades is not very good. But if we are controlled, then these two are excellent cards, and we do get a Petrify, which is always great. And we have also Miner's Guide Wing, much worse in sealed than in draft, where if you can get like a good critical amount of these, then they're just excellent cards. But if you're a control deck, then Guide Wing is an acceptable card, but nothing spectacular. Leaps can be playable, just solid trick. Then when we go up into the mana curve, Suffering, in general, not a very good card. Might of the Ancestors is unplayable pretty much always. Alter Cloud Guard, one of the best commons in the set, so that's nice to see, but we only have one copy, and Whirlpool, which is also fine. Malamet Warscribe would be great if we had things that go white, like Tinkerstone, or a lot of Alter Cloud Guards, or like early drops, but we have some things, just not a lot. So let's take a look at the other colors. Poor early game for blue, and some creatures on higher mana values, but not very good creatures. I mean, Sage of Days is nice if you can dig to bombs, but we don't have like super bombs in our pool. Unlucky Drop, super solid, but then like these other cards I generally don't want to play. If we are Descent, we can play the Cave Worms. This also has trouble getting turned on. It's not that Explore is free unless you have the Nuts deck. And Brine Fang also something that I'd rather not play. So blue looking quite anemic, even though it has like a few good cards over there. Then black, we do have Deadweight and Tithing Blade and Echo of Dusk, but that's it. No more early game. And then we do have an Echo, which is great for the late game, and another Chance, also great for the late game, but like just 10 cards is just not cutting it. And we get one vampire in black for the Paladin, and well, these two are also vampires, but do we want to play black-white? So Queen's Bay Paladin looking really poor. And then Ray of Ruin, potentially splashable if we don't play black, but black is not looking like it, looking even more anemic than blue, which is already saying something. Then moving to red, so triple Triumphant Chop and Dreadmoss Ire is amazing. You would love to have that in Dinosaurs decks. The problem is we have one Volatile Wonderglyph and then 2 3-drops, Blade Master, Hotfoot Gnome, and then 2 Panicked Altisaurs, which are good in Dinosaurs. But, I mean, we don't have creatures. we have like 4 creatures, and 4 creatures are not enough even in a support color. So, especially when they're not like cheap, you know, and the other cards are just filler. Then green. Can green get us out? No. We have Lorekeeper, Sunlight as early drops, then 0 2-drops, 0, and then 1 3-drop, which is amazing. An amazing 3-drop, of course, a bomb, but 1 3-drop. So like green offers like almost no early game. And then the top end is nice. We get 2 Cavern Stompers and an Nurturing Bristleback, not black. An Axejaw, which is also great. A Spider could be fine or good, even if we go Descent. But this is kind of insulting. 4 Walk with the Ancestors, like almost unplayable card, and we get 4 copies. Like, come on, give me 2 frogs or something. Give me some early game, and we can make green work. But again, only white offers some semblance of an early game, and the other colors barely get there as support colors. The Triumphant Chomps are great if you have enough dinos, but you just only have like a few expensive dinos and just this, right? So do we have artifacts or things that can bail us out? We have the Master's Guide Mural, which is pretty good and sealed, and so I don't think red and black we are going to play that. Not a good deck in general in the format, but with this offering, definitely not. And then we have 2 Runaway Boulders, which can be playable if you're struggling to finish your deck and you need some removal. We already talked about Throne, which is, at least we know that whatever we're going to build, we're going to put Throne in. So there's that. This is completely filler. Buried Treasures, fillers. So yeah, and Hunter's Blowgun with what creatures are we going to equip, So it's not like we're getting a lot of things over here just because of the Master Guide's Mural. Like, the instinct is to try to build blue-white with what we have from white and like the little thing that we have from blue. We do get some caves, which are nice to discover and stuff, but this is a tough pool. It's a really, really tough pool. So this was the first deck that I built, and it's missing. I just built this just to try to put things into perspective on how I would need to like build in like a quick fashion. Um, and this would be blue white, and I would need to add the Master's Guide mural. But yeah, I need to place such filler over here to get like a critical mass of creatures that I don't want to play. Pretty much the cave divers, cave worms, Brian Fang. The wash trap is not good in this deck. The glorifiers of suffering also not good. The suffering glorifiers of suffering and mad war scribe are better if you have flyers, but with 1, 2, and 3 flyers, that's just not enough. So this gets there on the critical mass of creatures, but yeah, it's just not good if you're trying to do an assertive game. Then I tried with red green. So we do have the interaction that we think is good for this deck, triple chomp and ire, that's great. And we do have great top end with the Altisaurs, the 2 stompers, and a bristleback. So things to play, and then a bomb on the 3. But what do we have in between? We have like nothing over here. We have, yeah, Wonderglyph is excellent. Pugnacious Hammerskull is excellent, but those 2 cards cannot pull the whole early game. And then, yeah, once we get to 4, we have Axio and Throne. Spider, we need to play Spider in this deck, which is not good. Jade Seed Stones, mostly good in when you can play to the board, but what are we going to put counters on these 2 1-drops? And Rock Slide, just not good. So I went in and put some 2 buried treasures to do something on turn 2 and try to maybe ramp into an Axio or Throne. You know, frogs want to be, but if we had 2 frogs, if we had 2 frogs instead of 4 walking with the ancestors, you know, then I would have gone with this deck, because having 2 frogs makes pretty much all the difference. And we're playing best of 3 games over here, you know, so we need something as consistent as possible. So it is a tough pool, really tough to make work. And I did get one suggestion. I published this poll in Twitter X, and one user, Jason Newland, suggested a build. So here is the proposed deck by JD Newland, and I gotta say it's a good effort. Playing some Sultai over here, trying to make the lands work. 3 colors, pretty much 3 colors. And black and green are close to playable. They do have some good pieces. Echo, Join the Dead, Tithing Blade, Deadweight. That's decent interaction, and Ray of Ruin too, which is not the best, but still something. And then Souls of the Lost is a solid card. Echo is also solid, but I mean, the early game is just not getting there. We have solid top end, we have some solid interaction, but we're just gonna fall behind so easily over here, and as well get really tough mana problems. I also find with this Oaken Siren over here. By the way, we have 3 artifacts. We are not ramping to anything else, and it's also not reliably cast on 2. Floorkeeper has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's going to be a 1/1 also very often. If at least the cave worms were dinosaurs, but they're not. They're salamander worms. So Sage of Days, which we're digging for Echo, I guess. Probably the best card in our deck together with Hammerskull. So there's like some milling and things over here. Another chance should be in. I'm pretty sure about that if we were to play something like this. But this just like it's a yikes. We don't have early game at all. We do have some late game. This is something that could be played, and honestly, this pool is not very good. And we could have maybe tried to play this, but I went back to the thinking board. I thought on this pool a very long time and decided to go blue-white, and this is the final version that I came up with. And I do think this is the best build that is available in this pool. So what I did is I took away as many of the fodder creatures and filler creatures that I could, and instead added removal. So here we have like 2 boulders, drop, quicksand, whirlpool. And I also added an Araska puzzle door to search for more removal. And I thought like, okay, I don't have good creatures. Um, I do have removal, which is clunky. So if I'm going to put a lot of filler stuff in, I'd rather put filler removal than creatures because we're gonna be facing some busted bombs in sealed. And the risk that I'm taking over here is I hope I don't run into a lot of aggro, that instead I run into mid-range kind of control decks that have like a few bombs. And with the removal that I have, it's plenty. Um, I don't mind answering a 4 or 5 mana threat with a runaway boulder as long as the game's still alive, as long as I can answer. And then I do have clay-fired bricks and Master's Guide Mural as something that can give me power in the late game. So I don't have a lot of things going on for the late game, but I do have Mural and clay-fired bricks. I do have an excellent defensive card with Saw Blades, which can also do something, and also a lot of artifacts. So Oaken Siren is also going to be really good over here, unlike in the previous suggested build. So gotta run a lot of clunkers. Boulder, it's also an artifact. So like we eliminate something and leaves an artifact in the battlefield, so we can then craft with the 4 things that we can craft with. Our plan, we have a plan at least, which is to stall, 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 try to win via bricks and Master's Guide Mural, and try to outvalue with a lot of removal. So hopefully opponents have like a couple of threats and bombs that we can answer. We have defensive speed and then try to somehow win. So with my experience in the previous run, the slow deck got there better than an assertive deck. I don't have the pieces to play an assertive deck, and I don't really have the pieces for a slow deck, but I do have a lot of clunky removal and 2 things that can go into the late game. We do have some solid creatures now on the early game. So we have Guide Wing, we have Crewmate, which is excellent over here. Unlike in our previous deck, we have a lot of hits over here. And again, we have removal. That's what this deck is going for, even if it's clunky. And we do have 3 awesome uncommons with clay-fired bricks, saw blades, and mural. And then we have Roaming Throne, which is a very solid card, not a bomb, but very solid. And we do still have 3 flyers. So flyers, trying to go into the late game, remove everything, try to control somehow, be patient, and make it work. And it did get there. I played some of the most intense and tight Magic games that I can remember, and I really want to go into the games and analyze them slowly because whew, I am proud for those. I got lucky for sure with this not so good pool to be able to go all the distance. So let's just go ahead and check the games. Match 1, game 1 on the draw. So our opening hand, not looking very promising. We have literally no creatures. Pirate Hat by itself does nothing. We do have a removal spell and 2 caves, but 5 lands. This almost looks like a mulligan. We decide to keep, so we're brave over here, hoping to draw action. They play a Plains and Deconstruction Hammer. Roaming Throne is a good card to play, although still not an early play, so let's just play tap land. Attentive Sunscribe. All right, and we haven't drawn a 2-drop or anything of the sort. We could play the Petrify on the Sunscribe, and we do have a bunch of removal in our deck, so we could still draw more removal. And we kind of need to spend our mana somehow in order to not fall too far behind, and scry 1 every turn is also good for opponent, even at the early stage of the game. So I just fire the Petrify over here, even though it's the only removal I have in hand. I am hoping that I will draw more when it's relevant, and it also goes toe-to-toe a bit with what opponent is doing. Then opponent misses a land drop, which is great news for us. So we just play to the board, 3-2, Definitely you don't want to sandbag that. We don't have much stuff to sacrifice, nor flyers, so definitely a 3-mana 3/2 over here for tempo is fine. Opponent draws a land, a plains, but they pass their turn, so this could possibly mean they're color screwed. We continue to draw land, we attack, it connects, so no Saw Blades, no 2-mana deal 4 to attacking creature, and we just deploy our Roaming Throne, and we name Human, because in our deck we do have the Altec Cloud Guard and the Staunch Crewmate on ETBs. The other ETB is Ironpaw Aspirant, and we don't have it on hand. We also have Sage of Day, so we can double dig. So that's why Human in this deck is what makes the most sense. Opponent plays a Clay-Fired Bricks, really good card. They draw planes, but looks like at least the color screw continues to be there. And now Pirate Hat is going to do some work over here because we've drawn a few too many lands. We can equip, get in, discard a land, and we draw a Cloud card, which is great. Play another cave. So I do like playing the Pirate Hat over the bear over here. Like opponent is quite far behind, and we want to secure the game by discarding the lands. Opponent draws another card, but still don't play to the board. So now we get the 2 gnomes because we named Human correctly. We attack, filter more lands, play another land, and opponent didn't draw. So pretty much a free win over here, to be honest, but still some important decisions to make, like petrifying that Sunscribe and naming Human, playing the Pirate Hat. So, and we actually drew into action. I think I also agree now with keeping that hand with 5 lands and a petrify, because it means that we can answer the first threat, and we are hoping to draw into something, and we have a lot of removal, and we don't mind going to the late game with this deck. So next game against this same deck, so we are put to the draw, and we draw this hand. The Puzzle Door makes for curing a lot of sins because we don't have white, so, and we're on the draw, so we're hoping to draw more cards, but we are definitely missing a plains over here, and it's still a clunky hand. I decide to keep because the Puzzle Door will allow me to dig deep. They play a hammer again. We don't draw a plains or other action, but we do draw the Boulder, which has the mode to cycle for 2, so that's an emergency mode that we might need to use. Puzzle Door, another hammer, so maybe our opponent is on Hammer Tribal. Being green-white, we can probably assume that they have Kutzil in their deck with this, or maybe some other bombs. Okay, we draw our white source. We play it, and we will probably crack a Puzzle Door at the end of the turn. So they play a Herald Guide, which explores and draws a land, and we get a plains, and we bin a Sage of Days. So Sage of Days would also be a fine play here, but the plains is more important because we want to curve 3 to 4, and we already have a 3/2 lined up, so that makes complete sense. We can also always helping hand back, so that's a nice tempo play that we'll be able to make in a bit thanks to that bottoming. We draw a Sunscribe. We go for helping hand. We have put 2 islands into the bin, and we put a Braided Net on top, Braided Net being definitely good in this state, and we also play a 2/2. The idea being that if I play a 3/2 over here, it's going to trade with this, so I'd rather trade a 2/2, and also maybe this in the future gets some value with counters. Opponent's turn, they equip hammer, they equip another hammer, so yeah, now this 2/2 cannot trade, but they did have to spend 2 mana to do that, so that's going to hurt. Ouch. And we draw the Braided Net, Roaming Throne, and name Human again. And now we want to align these 3/2 with the 5/3. Okay, Cartographer's Companion, definitely not a strong card. They can try to explore on the 5/3 so that it matches well versus the 3/2. That's what they do. They reveal Tinker's Toad. I don't know why they don't keep the Tinker's Toad on top. Seems like a fine card in this place, but maybe they're looking for something better. Anyway, that's a 6/4 right now. Gets in, and I release my 4/4. It's better to do that than getting 2 for 1. And we don't have a human right now to take advantage of the ETB, so I definitely don't want to take another 6/4 over here. So change, and now that's a 3/2. We draw all the Cloud Guard, so getting a bit punished for not sandbagging the 4/4, sadly. But I do like trading over there, and we don't mind going to the late game. The opponent doesn't have as many cards as we have. We have some removal lined up, so trading definitely felt good. Feel good about that. We put another planes on top. We want to continue to draw things. We want to be able to cast the Boulder and possibly also Braid Net and like flip. So want to keep that. Opponent takes it, and we do play our 3/2 over here, which might even want to trade depending on what we're being shown. So opponent does reach 6 mana. I do take that one because a 3/2 flyer is pretty good, and we do have blockage for the Cartographer. Adaptive Gem Guard, completely fine. It has 2 hammers, so it's going to get pretty big. And equip, so now it's a 6/6. And then draw the planes, and now we could Braided Net, tap it, and get in for quite a lot, and they start to be on the back side. But also we can just get in with the Alter Cloud Guard, Braided Net, and end of turn tap the 6/6 to make sure that it doesn't do much to us, and then we can maybe swing back. And I do like to take things slowly, so Braided Net and Pirate's Hat. Oh, I actually go all in on this. All right. And I leave a 1/1 to jump block. So I do like to get frisky here, apparently. Now seeing this, I understand that if I get some damage here, then the Alter Cloud Guard starts to get very scary. And this is going to be a bit useless because of the Braided Net for a while. So I kind of see now the point, and I just leave this thing back because I'm planning to jump. I definitely don't want to get too low on life, and they could have a staggering size which could completely wreck me over here, but I do think I should still be alive. Now if they tap, they play a staggering size, I'm pretty much dead because it gets trampled, but I guess I just go for it. I want to be brave. So all right, so Unstable Glyph Bridge, one of our cards that we hate to see, and a bomb. At least it also kills the Adaptive Gem Guard. So 2/1 versus 1/1, and this can get equipped, so it's going to get in and do some damage over here. But this is far from over. We have removal still, and they only have this. We will need to answer this, and we are both on similar life totals, so let's see what we do. But that Glyph Bridge definitely hurt because we were in a quite commanding position over there. We play the planes, get in. So right now I'm not playing around more tricks or whatever. I am sandbagging the Boulder because I want to answer the Glyph Bridge when it flips. And well, I forgot that I have the Braided Net, so this is completely fine. And they do decide to spend 3 mana to destroy the Braided Net with the hammer. They do craft, and that's when we answer that. So that was kind of telegraphed that they would do that, and having an answer for that is pretty good. Now it's time to get some value from this probably, and we can sack the Boulder to get 2 counters over here. That's exactly what we do. Get 2 counters, equip the hat, loot that land away, and we can have a Petrify. So the opponent is on a tight spot right now because we have a removal in hand and 2 good creatures, threatening lethal. Definitely want to take this. I could lose to 2 staggering sizes, but And that's a pretty good card to draw. So they get Glyph Bridge back. Yes, and this does the same thing again. At least they also lose their things, but this is not nice. Crack and find clay-fired bricks. Okay, that's a good thing to find. Play. They do transform that so that it's back. Not nice. And a Miner's Guide Wing, which gets equipped. So now I'm being threatened lethal over here. So this is scary. So probably need to petrify the Glyph Bridge. What's it called once it's flipped? The Sand Swirl Wonderglyph. Would never know that name. Probably play the Bear and the Petrify, and this ability can be nice if I get to flip this. So, but definitely we cannot allow ourselves to die over here. And they do have the Deconstruction Hammer to answer the bricks. So, but they need to be careful because this is now equipped. So what does opponent have? They getting in with 2, a cave, and do we win? Question mark. We do draw a cave. Okay, they answer our. We go to attacks, and because we haven't flipped this, then they attack with this. Because if we did, well, we're going to activate the ability anyway. So they attack with that. Attack in, get in, go to 1, and now we flip this. And it's nice that the crafting is not a spell, so we're able to attack and do this. And now the opponent is back to a tough spot. So play our cave. What do they discover? Okay, this is maybe the reason why they're playing green-white. It's not. I don't think it's as good as Kutsil, but still pretty solid card. Get in for 1, and this is going to activate and tap something, so we should get there with a lethal attack, and yeah, they concede. So a tight game, and we beat not just 1 but 2 unstable Glyph Bridges. So pretty happy with how that went. Their quality of their deck is better with this bomb at least than whatever else we have. So very happy about that victory. Match 2, we're on the play. And we see this hand missing blue. We do have Alter Cloud Guard and a 2-drop, but missing blue is pretty hard on Siren and Crewmate. We are playing an even distribution, even less islands than planes. So this is a tough keep. I don't remember if I kept it or not, but it's kind of sketchy. No, I mulled because I didn't want to be stuck. And this is a better hand for sure. We have the clay-fired bricks to ramp us, and then the Master's Guide Mural. So we're set for the late game. We even have some early game and already an answer in hand. So keep that and bottom this Glorifier of Suffering, because vanilla 3-2, and we do want the rest of the cards in our hand. They play a tapped Cave. Another land is good. We do want to hit all our land drops now to get to 5 mana and also potentially flip clay-fired bricks. So we do play to the board over here. No reason not to. Tithing Blade is annoying. I really dislike to get hit by Tithing Blade on my 2-drop. If it's my 1-drop, it's more fine. Probably I have played a 2-drop before or something, but I'm like, okay, at least this doesn't die to Dead Weight, but it does die to Tithing Blade, so what can you do? Get our planes and continue to go to the late game. Opponent does not spend 3 mana, so it's good that they're there. We can definitely take our time. We will get to this 4/4 soon, and then we continue to draw lands. So as long as opponent is not pressing us too much, we also don't mind skipping this. Great. So I'm assuming the opponent has a lot of removal, and that's why they're playing red-black. Let's see if they have removal. 4/4 would be a good reason to use it, and they do have Join the Dead, so that's fine, but we're still making 2/1s over here. This is going to flip and we'll make 2/2s. So Deathcap Marionette will be annoying against our bigger bodies, but it's not pressuring us too much. And they mill, the super big bomb and also a super good card. So maybe this is why they're playing black-red. But yeah, if they get another chance to get these two back, that we will be in trouble then. It's not nice. We do have a Petrify to answer Aklatots coming back, but we draw Siren, so we get to play that. Would have been nice to draw that maybe a bit earlier, because then we would be able to ramp, although it would have probably eaten the Join the Dead. But let's see. They probably still have some removal in hand. They get in. No, well, they had to go with the Monster Straw, which is 6/5, which makes sense. Now we draw the Qualifier Suffering that we put back. Get in, we shouldn't forget that damage, or every damage counts. And I decide to, create 2/2s. This is an interesting thing. I had nothing else to craft with, so I had to give up my Oaken Siren, which hurts. And I decided to go with this before I go with this over here. I wonder if I should have crafted this, and then I do this and get an extra 4 for the next turn, but I decided to do this. I guess my inclination was like, they still probably have some removal because they've been sandbagging cards, and if I go with this is going to get killed, and I want to maybe kill the Deathcap Marionette already. Probably also want to do a Glorifier of Suffering and maybe get more things out. Probably have to petrify the Monster Sword, even though I would like to sandbag this for the Eklatots. But yeah, interesting that I would do this right now, seeing this in retrospective, because my instinct would have been to do this first and then craft this the following turn and get more of these. Everything gets in. Oh, Dreadmore Sire. Pretty good card, and it's going to kill either the Anthem or the Mural. Let's see what they do. I wonder why I don't decide to trade with Deathcap Marionette. Maybe it was just me being super 5-head and knowing that they could have like a trick, and if I had blocked here, then they would kill one of my gnomes and also an artifact. That would have been really, really bad for me. But I still have some life. So that gets in, and they destroy the Mural. Okay. Then they craft with a Titan Blade, and this will start to drain me, starting with the upkeep. So not a nice spot. I need to draw some action. That's something good to draw. And I get the Soul Blades, which is amazing. I can answer this and still keep the Petrify in hand in case they have another chance, and I can start to get in now. So now I have some board. This is starting to look better. I can even play Glorifier of Suffering, crafting the Soul Blades. And I do have now in the graveyard the Mural to craft with, so this is good. Drain, so I have to also still be wary of this. Oh, all right. So if given a turn, this can bring back Aklatots, so probably have to petrify that. First the puzzle door, see what we can get. We get Unlucky Drop. Okay, Unlucky Drop is pretty nice. And we bottom an island, so Unlucky Drop this, get away. Maybe tempt them to put it back on top. Looks like good to me. That's what I do. And they do decide to put it back on top because they are priced in getting their class outs, and we just start to leverage the tempo, take more. We are getting drained. The Viper comes back, and I don't know what this other card is. Maybe a land, but they haven't like removed or done anything, and they also haven't cracked the Hidden Volcano. They are really priced into getting the Atlas outs. Cloud Guard is a nice card to draw. Play that and petrify, get in. So now opponent is starting to fall very far behind on board, and they cannot get back the Atlas outs. So this is good, and we also have the Glorifier of Suffering to maybe sack this and get in for lethal the next turn. So starting to look very good. Chupacabra Echo is a really good card for them to draw. Our Flyers dies. Rumbling Rock Slide. Okay, so that was the other card, and now they need to use it on a gnome. So happy to see that, but now it's still going to continue to drain. I think we can play. We could potentially also craft this. We get in, they trade because they don't want to continue to take damage. Now another chance would be so scary if they get Chupacabra Echo and Aklasots or the Appraiser. But I do decide to craft, and I play the bear. So now this is a 6/6 threatening them for lethal next turn. So this is troublesome for them. Pirate is good. And what do they discover? Militia. So, and then they decide to tap the two things that would tap anyway. Still not lethal. Still not lethal here. I decide not to do anything, not to sack 6/6, and I do attack with everything because I can tap. I could tap here, right? The problem is if I tap, well, they need to chump block. I think I should just attack with everything over here. But I left this behind. Maybe afraid that they could draw something hasty. It is definitely not lethal yet because they're going to chump block. I think I leave it back because it's lethal anyway, and this forces the chump block anyway. So being able to answer a hasty threat is good. And it doesn't change the clock. They're still at the next turn. So I decided to do it like that. And I kill the militia so that there's no more pings. The train is still there. And the opponent doesn't draw anything that gets them out of that situation. So game one goes in our favor, but the opponent has shown us some pretty scary stuff over here. So, and also some recursion. So we need to make sure that our answers are prepared. Game 2 for match 2. This hand, not the best, but we do have two cycling things, and we do have removal over here. So we're missing a color. I do think I keep this on the draw, hoping to draw into white. Oh, I'm on the play. I'm on the play. They decided to put me on the play even after losing this, so they considered that it's very grindy. I can't remember if I was also surprised that I was on the play, but still with two cyclers, I think I'm priced to keep that. No white yet, but still we'll cycle. Sunset Militia, and we cycle, and we get a minus Guidewing, we want to see. Yes, we never didn't have it, right? So we can play Guidewing and also cycle the other boulder. And after having cycled this, then we have Craft Fodder for all of this. So this is nice. Okay, that's a pretty good card, but we do have an answer for the early game. So we cycle, that gets in for 1. Another land is what we want to see. This is good. And I play the Altic Cloud card, probably intending to trade with the Raptor over here. They come in. I don't. I take it. Okay, so I want to put pressure in the air for them. And I can also just use this and this. Yeah, this makes a lot of sense. Why trade my flyer? I'm still at high life total. The next turn I can Soul Blades and Aspirant, and I have flyers. So yeah, kudos to me. I did the correct play over here. So the Viper is good over here. They cannot put Aklasots on the graveyard just yet, and anyway they would play the next turn. So still scary that they could like cycle a Monster Sword or something and bring it back, but it's not going to be super impactful at this point. So okay, they get frisky and go for it, but that means that my gnome can now get in an extra point of damage. So put that on the Guidewing, pressure in the air, and answer the Raptor. That's a lot of damage in the air, and opponent needs to answer this somehow, and they haven't answered the Cloud Guard or anything. So they probably don't have removal, or they don't have, or they want to keep the removal for something else. Anyway, this starts to look good. They can bring back the Raptor, but that is fine. This already did its job, and I can craft it. Plundering Pirate is fine. We'll let that get through, and they tap. Okay, so they're going into the race. They're going into the race, and I have an unlucky drop to win this race and some flyers. So I do like my position. Braided Net is also pretty good. I just go ahead and put even more pressure in the air. So this is one of the times when Glorifier of Suffering is good, putting things on the flyers. Punk, and then the next turn they need to answer. They need to do something because I have lethal on board, and if they try to put Ecclesots or something, I just get over. So they need to remove. Appraiser, what does it discover? Torch. Sadly for them, my flyers are out of range, so this is a win already for me. And that is great. That is great. Good thing that Glorifier of Suffering put this out of range and that they didn't draw the removal. Being red-black, I guess we were a bit lucky that they didn't draw that removal. They also didn't have Aglazots, but we did have some removal in hand to answer that. So some scary cards. I guess we were lucky that opponent didn't get to play them and that our answers lined up well. In this game, we even went aggro with the flyers. So our deck can win in more things than just answering things and going into the late game, it seems. Moving on to match 3. Moving on to match 3. We are on the play, and this hand looks very good. We have enough lands and a great 4-drop, a fine 3-drop, also a removal. So we keep, even though we don't have a lot of early game. Again, we're fine with going to the late game. Caves. Frog, in my opinion, the best green common in sealed because it just enables all the nonsense for sealed pools, and it also trades for a real card in the late game. Just love that card. So play the net, and in the upkeep, I tap the frog. So that's good, disrupting their curve. I do think it's worth it to use that. Scout, and they reveal a Nurture in Bristle Black. They do have an extra land, so and they do play to the board. They do put some good things on the board, and I'm going to have to do something about that. They have a 7-drop incoming that I have left on top, or maybe they want a land. Okay, so Sunscrap is something I do like to play to the board over here. And in their upkeep, again, tap the frog, disrupt their curve. We need some time. I take it because I do value the Cloud Guard quite well, and hopefully we'll have Sunscribe here to trade and make things better. They could have had maybe a 4-drop or something that they cannot play right now because of this. So this is important that we are not getting overrun. So the Braided Net is doing some good job. And hey, great draw because we can continue to put on the board. The Gnome is not blocking, so let's get in and then put some blockers in. We decide to bottom Island and Aspirant, and we keep Boulder on top to answer whatever scary thing they have. They could have a Hatcher. I don't want to be pessimistic, but with these colors, they could. And they could have other nonsense. So getting another removal sounds good. So the Braided Net, answering the frog has been really nice. Petrify on 3/2. So that's one removal less to deal with. And I just wait. So the Braided Net here is going to wait to craft. They can probably drop something bad. I just want to be able to answer it, take it calm, and this can maybe craft and then draw some cards. So do your worst. They play a 5/5, and I just kill that 5/5. And it's fine because I'm going to be able to craft with Braided Net. So I like that thing on the battlefield. Craft, draw. Oh, I decided not to draw yet. So I will draw once the next turn, in case they have probably like a Skullcap Snail or whatever. Actually, I just want to keep Whirlpool up in case I need to block and they go staggering size or something. So I do want to do that on the end step. So correct play over there. They get in. I do want to trade and make things here because this is going to draw me a lot of cards. So outcarding is going to be good. Decide to double block here, and I do have the insurance of the Whirlpool in case they want to use a trick. They don't use a trick, so I'm assuming they don't have a trick. Draw me cards. Those are some really nice cards to draw. No more lands. And this is starting to go in my favor. A 6-5 is pretty good, but we have removal. And they put another land. So petrify the 6-5, play the throne, name human, play everything to the board, and get in. And we have a braided net coming up a bit later, as well as discovering. We could even like handcraft the discover. Yeah, we can discover the braided net in the next, so that's a pretty nice discover to get. So, opponent, do you have removal, or will you start to crack things? Petrify on the crack shot. Interesting. Why wouldn't you petrify on the throne? I guess is so that I cannot tap the frog. I don't know. I still think it's better to petrify the throne, or maybe they just want to use the mana. Yeah, okay, they wanted to play that. Fair enough. But maybe they could have put this first and then petrify this in a later turn. They could, like, they can hold Dart Frog and Death Touch over here. I'm not going to attack. Well, there's a frog over there, so I don't know. I don't like this petrify from the opponent on the crack shot. This comes in. I do need to answer the Altisor because it's going. I'm not like in like a super high life total. I could have discovered the Cataract, I guess. Maybe that was better because no, I cannot hold the Whirlpool if I do that. I would need 6 mana, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No, I could still hold, right? This cost me 5. I think I should have discovered the braided net. This was a mistake on my part. Crack, discover, and then I have 3 mana up to Whirlpool for 2 damage. I think it's definitely worth it, but I just go for that instead. And now they cannot activate the frog, so I decided to get in for 4 points of damage. I don't think the 4 points of damage is as good as keeping the Cataract, honestly. And I could even go for like braided net, tap the Altisor and Whirlpool it immediately, so I even not lose 2 life for the expense of 1 thing over there. But anyway, this is what we decided to do. Now it's their turn to start cracking. King Collar is nice. They gain life and keeps the board a bit stable. So there's that. Now I have braided net. So now I first discover Guidewing, which is going to trade with Frog potentially, and net. So now it's starting to sit back. Sahili Slice is pretty good for them. They discarded an extra land and they can bring this back. They would get like a 5/4. Ooh, Killen. So pretty good card. So maybe this is also one of the things they're splashing over here. But yeah, they're going to get 2 map tokens and a 2/3 that can potentially put more things into the board. So that's pretty good for them. Explore, draw land, explore again. They draw another land, so this is holding them back at this point, although I have the braided net to maybe hold that back. But yeah, interesting game. I'm going to probably need the card draw from this to get there. Okay, Qualifier Bricks is really good. I probably don't want to crack this right now. Draw me the planes. And yeah, an Anthem over here is super nice. And I'm going to draw a lot of cards with braided net once we get there. So I even get frisky and decide, like, you know what? Attack in, and they just take it. So need to be careful with the Kellen, but I do have a lot of blockers over here. So opponent needs to do something over here. Okay, Malamet Battlecliff is good, but it's just a prey upon. I guess they're killing the Guidewing. Oh, they're using with the Petrify. So one of the downsides of having Petrify is that they can still use the creature for bites and fights. They pay the ward, and that dies. And they get like a big one. So that was good for them. They don't get in. They don't want to trade stuff for my gnomes, and also they're at a low life total. They need to be careful with the braided net. And well, I am also going to be able to sacrifice something from the petrifies and make things bigger. So that's really nice. First discover, because we can use that mana. Or ask a puzzle, they're not the best discover in the world, but we can use this, sacrifice something, come to the board, get in. Now the Miner's Guidewing is a real threat. Opponent needs to do something over here. This 4/3 is holding back this. They have yet another Petrify on the braided net. So The braided net is there, so it would not be allow this to happen, but this is now holding this back. I wonder if they should have petrified my guide wing, since this is killing them. I do tap that, and they don't want me to draw more cards, so that's fair. And then they discover Kutsil, so that makes a lot of sense. I cannot no longer use things at instant speed on their turn, so it's good. Helping Hand can bring me back Sage of Days, which is nice. First, let's see what we get. We get a Boulder, which is great, more removal, and Siren into the graveyard. So the removal is there, and I just killed a frog. So out of all the things my opponent has, I need to kill the frog so that the guide wing gets in unscathed, and I can also return the Sage of... Oh, the Siren. Okay, really nice. So now they need 2 answers. I like this play a lot, and opponent is in big trouble. Still discovering something. Petrify. How many? They have 4 Petrifies. That's insane. As well as other good cards. So that goes there. They attack. I do block. Oh, they attack because they get the trigger, but they don't hit anything. And now it's just GG. So also a long game that we win because the text plan works, and Braided Net doing a lot of work over here. So really nice game. Next is the continuation, game number 2. This time we're on the draw. So let's see if they also have the Hatcher or something else. But definitely a keep. We have Puzzle Door and Bricks, so, and Roaming Throne, which hasn't been too shy, and it's been like a very solid card. No Frog this time. That's something nice. We play Bricks. Okay, they cycle and they get their mountain. 3-1. That's going to play to the board, and they put Panicked Altisaur in the bottom. Probably they're missing land drops. Otherwise, Altisaur is a pretty good card. I would have kept it, but they probably are missing lands, or they want to draw to something else. So sounds good by me. Sage of Days is good here as a blocker and digs us to something. Digs us to Plains and Sunscribe in. Also nice to have that as craft. And we keep an island. We keep an island because we want to hit all the land drops in order to first play Boulder and also play Fired Bricks. We happily trade, and King Caller revealing, there's the Hatcher. There's the Hatcher. That's a yikes. We play a land, and this is going to come a bit too late. So we do have the Roaming Throne named Human, and it's going to at least hold the 3/3s back. But this is scary stuff. Hatcher is one of the biggest bombs in the set. We have an unlucky drop. I don't want to unlucky drop the Hatcher because it will make even more dinos. And this is doing God's work over here, holding everything back. Sadly, this is a bit too expensive to kill the Hatcher, but yet we need one more turn. Play a Puzzle Door. The Braided Net, it can hold off at least this attack for 1 turn. That is pretty good. They discard a Plains, Petrify, on the Braided Net. So yeah, I was thinking they cannot Petrify the Throne, but they can definitely Petrify the Braided Net. And they have so many Petrifies. Their pool is pretty good. Tap that creates, and we find Mural and bottom a Crackshot. So we can now answer the Hatcher with Soul Blades, and that's what we do. And I probably also craft. So now we have also extra insurance in case they remove this. So we're holding back. We have answered Hatcher, and now we need to deal with the rest of the things. But that's good. This can also craft at some point. Aldisaur is a good card. It can pressure us. Yeah, I like this play. Try to craft this first and continue to craft. So now that we're kind of stable, we need to try to outvalue the opponent, and we can take some hits from this thing. So starting to get annoying with the petrifies, but that's what our opponent has. Scythecore Raptor, also pretty good card. So play the cave, and now we craft before they petrify the clay-fired bricks. Good to have this over here, and now we also have things to hold back the raptors. Take 2 damage. Kellan comes in, pretty good card. Explore is pretty good. Yep. They kept a spring-loaded saw blades on top. Okay, but I'm not interested in attacking anytime soon. So maybe it's not the best. I mean, it's a good card, but I'm not going to attack yet. I do want to go to the long game even more. I have answers. I have things to discover over here. All right, so that discovers. Kellan comes in. They decide not to attack. They don't want to exchange the raptor. Get a 1,000 Moons crack shot. Okay, so this is a 6/6, and I have removal in hand. I crew this by tapping these 2 things. It's nice that I can do that without even having to crew. And even if I attack, then the Saw Blades does not answer this. So definitely want to start to do this. And they do block quite well. If they had blocked with just 2 things, then just Unlucky Drop or Boulder. So this is a good block by opponent, but it's still a 2-for-1 for me. Crack shot, and I kill that the Altisaur so that I stop taking damage. They have the Saw Blades. All right, they killed my other thing. So they have a lot of removal. Their deck is just so good, and some bombs also. I want my opponent's deck, but we are doing very well with our deck too. So there's that. Whirlpool, more removal. Let's see what we discover. We can stay Miner's Guidewing, but it is a 2/2 flyer, and it doesn't get tapped when it attacks. So again, this Saw Blade is looking really embarrassing. So it's something. Can still sit back. That comes back as a 22/4. Yeah, I have removal in hand for that nicely. Even draw like a boulder and can kill another thing. Start to get in, and now I say like, all right, time to start to get in with the golem. And I don't mind trading the golem for, is it Kellan? Yeah, I don't want them drawing more things with Kellan, so that seems good to me. Explore a cave, and they attack with that. I don't mind trading 2 for the 5/4. They could have a trick, but I guess I don't mind trading, and they don't have a trick. Nice. Okay, Pirate's Head is even better. I equip on this, start to get the clock in over there. Siren. So I probably have to take down one of the removals. That hurts. It would have been better to take away a land. Yeah, I put the Unlucky Drop down, play Siren, because that accelerates the clock significantly. All right, they petrify the 5/5, and they start to get in, and I say like, you know what? Fine, let's trade, and I explore with my Siren, draw land. The Pirate Hat is very good over here because I get to loot Helping Hand to bring back more things. I still have the Whirlpool in my hand to answer any other threat, and this also has Vigilance. So wow, the Soul Blade has been like super bad for the opponent. See what I can discover. Glorifier of Suffering sounds good. We can sacrifice the mural, not this because we could still have a human. Yep. Wait, I sacrifice a runaway boulder. I guess it doesn't really matter very much. But put that over there, and then Helping Hand to bring back the Miner's Guidewing. So if they want to use this on that, and then we get to explore again, be my guest. Another explorer, and they do indeed do that. Explore, get another land. At least all the lands we now loot away with Pirate's Hat. So this looks really good. And they've already used this, so now I can even attack with things that get tapped. Loot away things. They want to trade 2-for-1. Also good. They're getting low on life. And put that over there. They still have petrifies and stuff, so this is maybe going to get petrified, and we're still going to be a slog. Okay, Iron Paw Aspirant. And they craft. No petrifies yet, so we continue to loot. We loot the lands away. They can discover, okay, Bristleback. Yeah, bristleback is the bristleback is just to get the land. They do have lands to play the bristleback. They have 7. Decide not to play it. Interesting. I would have played it, although it's true that they're quite dead. So maybe they just need to try to, yeah, they cycle so that they can discover more easily. That doesn't make sense to me. I don't know why they cycle, but they do. Synod Scout, not a good discover. Get in. 2, and now with the Cloud Guard, which we still have humans, so we get a lot of things. This we could also play this and get double trigger, so I don't know why I didn't play it. I guess to keep the Whirlpool over here. Ooh, Gishat Sun's Avatar, Vigilance, Trample, Haste. That would have been pretty bad if I didn't keep the Whirlpool up. So I did keep the Whirlpool up to play against any haste thing, and because they're at life total, so kudos to me. I played super tight over here. They do attack, block with everything. I mean, even if I didn't have Whirlpool up, I could have blocked with everything, so it's not the worst. But I do think that having this, in case they had like a haste and a staggering size, was good, and we just win now with that. So super tight games against a pretty broken deck, if you ask me. Very proud of how everything went. On to match 4. Okay, match 4. We are 3-0 in a traditional draft. We would already have the trophy, and in Seal we would be very close to the trophy, but here we have still a long way to go. So game 1, we're on the play. And we get this hand, which is not super exciting, but we do have early plays and a removal spell, so this is most definitely a keep. Mountain. We play the 2-2. I'm always in favor of trying to hold the Iron Paw Aspirant as long as possible to see if we can put it on a flyer, and this attacks with the same power as the 2-3. 1-3. So because we held the Iron Paw Aspirant, we can now put the counter on the 2-2 and attack past the 1-3, which is a pretty big game. They pass a turn with all the mana up, and we have drawn 2 more removal spells. We can keep up Unlucky Drop and continue to attack with this. They block, so they probably have a trick in hand, but we can then get our 2-for-1, which is nice. Another one does not really. We don't have another trick anymore, but if they want to take it, if they had another trick and trade for the 3-3, I would be fine with that. They don't have, they just keep it, and we drew Alter Cloud Guard, which is an excellent follow-up. So we are putting quite a lot of pressure right now on the opponent. They need to do something. 3-2, so that at least trades with my 3-3. They get an extra land, but I can also start activating the ability of Thousand Moons Crack Shot to tap that. So I can put quite a bit of pressure over here. And it's also to consider, do I want to petrify? I could go so far as to petrify this, but the attacks that I have are pretty much the same, and I can just play the 2 while activating this ability. So I think I want to keep my removal for probably like bigger threats that they have. They're red-green dinos, presumably. So tap that. They need to take it, and now they're getting quite low. We put a 2-2 on the battlefield and say go. We have 2 removal spell in hand, so opponent is kind of in the back foot right now. Okay, Thrashing Bronto is pretty good, especially against Petrify. It's also blocking now the 3-3. So that's a bit of an annoying one, and they can, even if I petrify the Bronton, they can now sack it to kill my 2-2, so definitely not very good. We draw a Sage of Days, so probably just going to attack with a flyer. Oh, I go directly for the petrify. Probably because I would like to try to push a bit more damage, and then the opponent would be like in a really, really bad spot. But I'm not sure, maybe I should have been more patient here and just attack with the flyer. I do play it, and they sack it. So that's a 2-for-1 that I take. and I decide to tap that, arguing that they can go to 1 if they decide to eat my gnome. They still have mana up for an Abrade, which would be pretty bad for me. I don't know if I would make this attack now, but they do go to 1, and they are in a pretty bad spot right now. Like, this is now a lethal attacker and a lethal threat. Plundering Pirate is not cutting it, but maybe they splash for something that can keep them in the game. So here I do attack with just a flyer and final strike. It's kind of, if I had drawn an untapped land, I could then probably win the game over here. So it's kind of unfortunate that I drew the tapped cave, but what can you do? That dies, Sage of Days, and we put Plains and Saw Blades. Saw Blades kind of useless on offense right now, and we're keeping the Runaway Boulder. So we have mana to play our removal, and depending on what they play, they should be quite, like, this also has the activity ability. I can wait for a turn, then cast Boulder, then cast Whirlpool, and then just attacking for lethal. So still on a pretty good spot over here. Yeah, 6/5 is definitely not going to cut it, because we have plenty of removal for that. We're going to wait and see if the opponent thinks that they have stabilized. So kind of tricky over here. We will cast removal at end step and then possibly win the game if they get too frisky. That's a good card. It's coming a bit late in the game, but that's a pretty good card, which would be really bad for us if they draw it. And another Sunshot Militia. So they are gumming up the ground pretty nicely over here. Okay, and they're starting to get a bit frisky. Of course, they need to do something, but they're still only at 1 life. And they pass a turn, so now we just kill the 6/5. And do we have a lethal attack? No, because we can only tap one thing. So we're going to wait again with a Quicksand Whirlpool, see if they do something else, and possibly attack for lethal. Or I just decide to discover, try to start cracking those caves. It's also fine. Oh, Braidnet. Braidnet is great in this situation. So they are in a pretty tough spot at this point. Add their mana before they attack. 3/2. And they don't, not that they don't want to attack. Obviously, this is good. And they're probably dead at this point. I can activate the Braidnet and activate the Thousand Moons Crackshot. They could have some removal, and it would be bad. But they need to activate it right now before I tap. No, if they still have removal, it would be pretty bad for me. Yeah, I decided to activate it, and they didn't have anything. So I'm assuming they drew a land over here. So that's a problematic card, and they do have a lot of Sunset Militias on red-green, which is normally not the best best deck for them. Also pretty decent cards, not 8, but like Brontodon, Monstrosaur, and Final Strike, definitely solid cards all around. So they seem to have pretty nice streamlined deck. It matches good with our removal because we have expensive removal. So we have that going on for us. Let's go to the next game. Game 2, where we are on the draw. So we draw this hand, which only has 2 lands. We don't have blue, and we do have Saw Blades, which is great on the draw, and Alter Cloud Guard. But this looks pretty sketchy. We don't have Boulder to try to cycle. I would be inclined to mulligan this, but I decided to keep it. So arguing probably that maybe opponent's deck is not super aggressive, but this has a big risk potential if I don't draw blue or don't draw many more lands. So not drawing a blue over there, tapped land. They don't have a 2-drop, which is good for us, because this is better off on something that is not a 2-drop, but still not drawing lands, so we can be there. Okay, Plundering Pirate is a good one for them. They are ramping, and they put something on the board. Please draw land. We don't draw land, but we have Boulder, cycle that, and we miss. So, yep, that was a risky keep, and we're paying the consequences, so now we have to discard. And I decide to discard the, what is it? The Glorifier. I decided to discard the Glorifier, but if I drew a land, I could maybe play it to trade, so I'm not sure if that's the best. It is definitely not a super good card in this situation, but I discard the Glorifier. So try to get that, get 1-for-1s and try to get back into the game like that. But they do get in. We're in a bad spot. They play another Plundering Pirate. They don't draw another land, so we know that all of this is gas for them. And we need to draw land here, otherwise we're going to be in a really bad spot. Okay, we draw planes. If we had the Glorifier of Suffering, we could play that here, but we're probably forced to fire the spring-loaded Saw Blades at this point. Quicksand Whirlpool. We're trying to be mana efficient over here, so that makes sense also to me. And then we could potentially go cycle this, play Saw Blades next turn if all the Cloud Guard doesn't look good. But definitely not a good situation, and we know that all of that they have over here is gas, and they also have 5 mana. So they draw land, which is great for them. They get it in. We're in a tough spot. Mineshaft Spider, interesting. Definitely not a good deck, red-green for Mineshaft Spider. And they decide not to mill. Like, why wouldn't you mill? Like, it's almost always better to mill. But maybe they don't have any graveyard synergies, and that's why they decide not to mill, but I would definitely mill, pretty much always. Regardless, it's still a body, and we are pretty far behind on board, so we're having a tough time. Helping Hand could be good if we had if we had discarded the Sage of Days. We can bring back the Glorifier of Suffering. We cycle trying to hit a land again, which we're in a rough spot, and before they untap, we decide to do that. Yeah, obviously not the best situation for us. They still draw land, and we know that these 4 cards are spells, so it's a Healy's Lattice. They discard Poison Dart Frog. I don't know if I would, I mean, maybe they just drew it right now, but I love that card. Maybe not the best thing right now, for sure. Brontodon is a problem, but probably any other card is a problem. Still haven't drawn our blue. Altic Cloud Guard, maybe try to attempt to kill the Brontodon. They attack with both, and I'm forced to double block. Very easy for opponent to blow us out, but they don't blow us out, so they don't have a trick. Still take 3, and 6-5 is pretty bad news for us. We do finally draw the blue, so we could unlucky drop and Helping Hand. Braided Net, trying to get something. Okay, we go for the line with Braided Net and making a 2-3. 2-3 is not doing much over here. Like, this is still not blocking anything, but it is playing to the board a bit, so let's see what happens. We tap the 6-5, obviously. We take 3 more, and that's pretty good for them. What do they discover? Oh, they discovered the Sunshot Militia. And we are in a very tough spot. Okay, and they have Sunshot Militias in their deck, so we're pretty much done in this game because we stumbled too much. And of course, they tap. And Over the Edge, okay, maybe they think that we have super powerful artifacts. We do lose our Braided Net, and that's also bad news, but regardless, this game is pretty much lost, and I just concede over here. So risky keep, and we paid the consequences for that risky keep. Probably should have mulliganed. Of course, if I drew a bit better, this game would have been different. But I went for the keep, and it didn't work out. So game 3. This, on the other hand, is a great keep. We have our colors, we have clay-fired bricks, roaming throne. No 2 or 3 drops to play to the board, but definitely a great hand to keep. They mulligan, so that's also good news for us. Get our extra land to make sure that we get our 4-drop online, and we cannot choose artifacts. We need to choose a creature type. Otherwise, we could curve this and make 2 4/4s. That would be pretty sick. But no 2-drop for them. No Poison Dart Frog. That is great news for us. Play the pirate hat and say go. They cycle, so they get the mountain. Plundering pirate, pretty good for them. So they are doing something, but this time I'm gonna put a 4/4, fat 4/4 in their face. So not gonna be easy for them to attack. And if they do attack, we know they have ancestral aid or something of the sort. So play this and name warrior, cat warrior. Normally we should name humans, but this is an ETB that we have guaranteed to hit. And sadly, Altic Cloud Guard is a soldier, not a warrior. So I think I named also warrior thinking an Altic Cloud Guard instead of cat, but also warrior is more obscure than cat. Maybe with cat they would be very sure that I have aspirant in hand. So there's that. Huatli's final strike. So they have to waste their whole turn with that, and also their treasure. So it's not the worst exchange ever by any means. And now we get to play our 5 mana 4/4, and that also is again blocking the pirates. So not the worst. That War 2 definitely being relevant. They do keep drawing lands, and do they reveal a dinosaur? They do. Ooh, they reveal Galta. Unsure how good Galta is. I don't think Galta is very good. Of course, if it hits the battlefield, it's pretty good. Sealed, definitely better than in draft, but I'm not sure this is better than a Cavern Stomper. I think it's worse because of the prohibitive mana cost. But of course, if it hits the battlefield, it would be bad. We do have a Quicksand Whirlpool over here waiting for that, so not scared about that at all. Sunshot Militia, and they decide not to tap anything. They could have maybe gone for the tapping, tried to bait me into attacking and not keeping this back, but this is now doing the Lord's work, holding back some stuff. So here, not missing the land drops and trying to get things online is a bit sad, but we do have things to play to the board, so that is good. Oh, we equip, and I get frisky. Interesting. Well, it would need to be a double block, and I would trade two things, so I see the appeal on this. And also, we know that they're still not going to be able to cast that in a while, so I just go in. And I can also Helping Hand and Attentives and play a 2-drop, so that's probably also why I did it. So, yeah, bottom the Sunscribe. They take 5. Aspirant on this, and Helping Hand with the 2/2. Of course, if I had discarded this and played this, then this would be a 3/3, which could trade with the Armored Kincaller. This only trades with the Plundering Pirate. So I actually like the other way better than doing it how it did it here. I would rather have Helping Hand this and have this as a 3/3 being back. Being on defense to try to trade with the Kincaller, but well, it's done. Ooh, okay. Of course, we're in the higher wins, and they have to play the strongest card in the set. Fortunately, we have removal if we draw a land. So, and yeah, I mean, if we don't draw a land right now, it's a really big problem, because even if we get to loot, we cannot play the land at instant speed, and then these are instant speeds, but not the other one. So please, please, please land, please land, please land. No land. We're in trouble. We are in trouble. 3/2 sacrifice. We can still get in with this because of and I decided to sacrifice the Guide Mural because now we don't have time. Maybe try to put some pressure over here. Get in. Still no land. I guess I'm just saying, like, we need to get a land as fast as possible. But they are going to get a trigger off of Boneheart Dracosaur. So this is looking pretty grim for us at this point. We still have things to do because of Boulders and Whirlpools. And they top deck 2 mountains and make a 3/1. So this is starting to get out of control. They do get in. Oh, but this is great for us because now we can Quicksand Whirlpool regardless of the land. So maybe an opponent's spot being a bit more patient and letting this get value was the correct play. Was also pretty unlucky of us for missing that land drop, which the game would be completely different right now. But now they got an extra land, an extra dino. We still don't draw the land, but we do draw more removal, and we can get that thing out of the way. So that is pretty important. And I decided to take a step back. I don't want to trade with this. Having more removal in hand, I can maybe force an awkward block. And if they do draw like tricks, I can also do more. And now I have the late game kind of in my hand with this and removal to answer Kalta. So it is on the opponent to draw better at this point. Actually, is a good one. They draw a land with the Explorer. They are getting close to playing the Kalta, so we need to keep in mind that this does not answer Kalta. So the Whirlpool is definitely needed for the Kalta. Both attack, so they probably have a trick in hand. So yeah, show me the trick. That is completely fine for me. And we exchange things. So we're a bit behind on board and we need to answer Kalta. So we do draw the land, so we can answer Kalta the moment that it comes down. But yeah, this is also really good for defense right now. So they are kind of forced to put on Kalta. So even if they draw removal, we can then crew this. So we are on this game. We're on this game. They play Kalta. Oh, this is pretty bad. They just put them in play and they just put the geological operation in play. That does not trigger the enters the battlefield effect. So sorry, opponent, that did not work how you wanted to do. And I guess they forgot that I have this to crew. So opponent really throwing away this game. They tried to get in, but that was pretty bad from them. And I even get frisky to try to draw into more action. I don't think this was correct. I think I should have just kept it on defense instead of getting frisky. I can die now to a staggering size or something of the sort. Oh, my bad. I can crew this by tapping two other artifacts, so I can tap this and this. So yeah, sorry, forgot about that clause on the chariot. So my attack was definitely correct. So now I'm liking my position, getting with that, and that's going to blow them out. Kill that and kill that. And now they're in trouble right now because I have yet one more removal. I have this to come if I draw a land. That's not going to cut it. And it's almost smooth sailing at this point. We whiff. Yeah, all lands. I would like one land, to be able to flip the clarified bricks. We whiff, but it's not the worst thing in the world. We do get in, and now we don't draw the land, so that 2-drop can go. Definitely not minding like killing the Sunshot Militia, since that is one of the few things that could be still scary. And Alter Cloud Guard to start to get like a grip on this game. Tap land doesn't do it. Okay, and now I flip the Clayfired bricks, I draw the land, and it's pretty much game over for opponent at this point. So a good thing that we didn't lose our minds when we missed the land drop for the Boneheart Dracosaur, and that we also had the Whirlpool for the Galta. Again, the strategy of stacking our deck with removal worked out very well, especially against this deck and their bombs. And good thing on me remembering that I can crew this even without a creature by just tapping to untapped artifact creatures. And the opponent definitely misplaying by putting the Appraiser on the battlefield and then attacking into my vehicle. But still, even without those misplays, this was a good game from my side, and I probably would have won the game because I had this late game and more things going on and still removal. So, yep, this Cloud Guard would have probably gotten through the finish line if they didn't remove it or something, and just flooding the board. So, match 4, we lost game 2 by keeping a very sketchy hand and being punished for it. But otherwise, the other 2 games we made it through because our removal lined up very well against the red-green Dino deck, despite their bombs. So moving on now to match 5. Okay, match 5 on the play. We faced quite a few nasty bombs already and beat them all. 4-0, just 3 more victories, and we qualify for day 2. This is when it starts to get nervous, but this is also a marathon. You just need to focus, keep your hopes up, and we're doing really, really well. Playing some of my best Magic also, so let's continue. Pretty nice hand. Love to have an Oaken Siren that might potentially also make me double spell on turn 3 already, so definitely a keep. They play Sunken Citadel, naming white. Play the Oaken Siren. Blue white, and they cycle. I don't know why they decide to cycle already. Would be good to make me scared of tapping this in case of a spring-loaded Saw Blades, but they go for the main phase, cycling and getting a swamp. So now I can definitely attack with impunity, and I can double spell thanks to Oaken Siren, which is just amazing. It's probably my favorite card of the set, together with Poison Dart Frog, both 2-mana rampers that are relevant at different points of the game. It's just gravy. Sage of Days, nothing special, nothing in particular. They mill Cataract and Oraska Puzzle Door, and this is going to trade with either of these two, so I am a happy man. And I even get to ramp out the Master's Guide Mural, so get in. Definitely do not need to tap that. If they want to trade, I'm fine. And I keep Roaming Throne on top because it's a pretty strong card by itself. So they decide to trade. 3 gets in, and I've ramped to a Master's Guide Mural on 4 thanks to Oaken Siren. Just beautiful. So, opponent, show me what you got. Dead weight on the Oaken Siren. It's already done its job pretty much, so happy to trade a dead weight at this point. And then what? They keep 3 open mana. Maybe the Brackish Blunder on the Golem would be pretty hurtful. Oh, Quicksand Whirlpool also hurts, but was to be expected. They left mana open for that. But anyway, they were going to use it, and we name human with our 4/4. And now this has ward 2. Presumably they have more removal, so hopefully this starts to put some pressure on them. And depending on what they play, we can also petrify and start to get in. Also, nice, cute combo. I can tap a creature and then play spring-loaded Saw Blades. So even though this card is whatever, there's like some neat synergy over there, even on the aggressor side. Didact Echo. It does draw them a card, and this does have flying because they have descent 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They have descent 5. So, but still, it's not blocking this, also not blocking that very well. So definitely the pressure is still on. And I do decide to tap that, get in, and spring-loaded Saw Blades. So cute combo over there, and activates this on the offense, which is great. Quicksand Whirlpool, they do have the mana now to pay for that, but they're still on a pretty bad spot. Now I've been able to craft with the Saw Blades, and this, they need to stop this somehow. And even if they remove this, yet another creature or another artifact would allow me to crew. So they're in a pretty bad stop spot. Chupacabra Echo, really good one. Kills my creature and provides a blocker for this. Okay, Crewmate was nice top deck. Better if it had been a land, that would have been pretty sad because I am still not at 7 mana to flip this. Also, I do have a Siren to craft, so that if I get to 7 mana, I can get to craft that. But still, better to have something to crew. We see Braided Net, so we're fetching the Braided Net. That's a great object to get. Cannot play it right now because we only have 1 blue, but we do crew, get in, and they take it. So opponent just has 1 life, and we have 2 removal spells in hand, so they really need to make something happen. No, not that card. Okay, opponent is having really, really good cards, and Definitely one of the best uncommons, mythic uncommons of the set. What do you take? They take the Braided Net. We still have a Petrify. Petrify, a very sad card to play against a Deep Cavern Path, because then we don't get our card back. But we might struggle to close this game, and it could slip out of our hands. So, and they play yet another Chupacabra Echo. Opponent's deck is stacked. Sad news for us. We do play the island. Oh, can we craft now? We can. I thought we were on 5 lands, right? We were on 6. Okay, well, we just craft. And then just get in. They just jump. So just jumping means that they could have like another chance. I would expect that they would try to trade. But they just jump with a Chupacabra Echo. That is very suspicious. Yeah, I hate my life. That's why they only jumped with Chupacabra Echo, because they're going to get yet another one and another one. How many Chupacabra Echoes can they play? Bye-bye 4/4 gets in. They're starting to get some life. We're starting to be in a tough spot. We didn't draw an artifact to trigger this. And they're going to flashback the self-reflection to make yet another Chupacabra Echo. This is not good. I'm still trying to get in. They jump again. And they copy a Chupacabra Echo again. They've played 4 Chupacabra Echoes this game. And they get in. Quicksand Whirlpool. Okay, so we can get back our Braided Net. Important. Play that. Okay, and then we get our 4/4 because the Braided Net entered. We can tap, crew, and get in. But they get lost it. I really thought it was almost the end of the line, but we're still going to have to struggle in this game. This is crazy. Please don't have another self-reflection with the Chupacabra Echoes. They just get in. What do we have now? Of course, more removal. Okay, Altic Cloud Guard. Can Altic Cloud Guard make it? No, it cannot, because it gets countered. This game, seriously, it's making... I already forgotten about this game, and it's just so painful. So painful. I gotta use a Petrify and a Chupacabra Echo to like try to buy some time. Okay, we do craft this, and this also allows us to make a 4/4, right? Yes. Thank you. Draw some cards. A lot of lands. Need to still put some pressure. Maybe we can craft the map and get a 3/3. Then we would be seeing lethal. Please, opponent, stop having things. Yes. Hallelujah. That deck from the opponent is just crazy. Crazy, and crazy that we were able to finish this game. Thank you for putting so many 4/4s out, Masters Manufactory. It stressed me out just of analyzing it again. And imagine like being 4-0 and in this qualifier, trying to get wins is just insane. So let's go for game number 2. 2 islands, Braided Net, Sage of Days, no planes in sight, but we do have a Sage of Days to try to dig towards the planes, so this does look like a keep to me. It is different from the other keep without the island that we kept on the previous match. This fetches me a planes, but I do need a planes to play it first. That card is really, really good. They see our whole hand, and will they take our Sage of Days? They should take our Sage of Days to screw us a bit more. They do take Clay-Fired Bricks. I guess that's also reasonable, because if I draw a planes, then it's a pretty good card for us. We don't draw planes, but we are going to be able to play Sage of Days on 3 to dig towards the planes. Then Deep Cavern Bat doing its thing. They do play their own Sage of Days, and bottom Calamitous Cave-in and Swamp. I didn't see a lot of caves from the opponent last game, and I also didn't see any red. So this is really strange that they have Calamitous Cave-in. Do they really need it? They also have like 1,000 Chupacabra Echoes and removal? Not sure, not sure. Sage of Days, Roaming Throne is a good draw. We need to find the plains. So we bottom the island and Boulder. Did we find the plains? We did. So definitely that's the keep. Tithing Blade, pretty good on us over here, but it does mean that we will be able to stick the Roaming Throne and hopefully stabilize a bit, stem the bleeding a bit. Name Human, of course. And by the way, also cute synergy that I can pay 2 white twice with Roaming Throne in play. So also, hey, extra synergy that usually never comes up. We need to answer this bet at some point. But we do have whirlpools and stuff, so a land is great. I decided to go with Braided Net and Crack Shot instead of the Master's Guide Mural because I saw a counterspell last game and I'd rather like double spell over here. So Braided Net resolves and 2/2 get in. I don't mind trading these two, so yeah. Maybe baiting them to deadweight this or something. I still have some life to play with, so and I have the Braided Net to tap. I gladly trade over there. Chupacabra Echo. Maybe I should not have done that. Maybe I should not have done that. Oh, of course, Chupacabra Echo does not kill this, so I should definitely do that. And that's a really sad Chupacabra Echo that doesn't kill and doesn't do anything for mana 3/2. Much less scary now. Get in, make a 4/4, tap the 1/1. Oh, they get in. They probably have another Chupacabra Echo or the deadweight, so I just take it. This is a correct play. Panicked Altisaur. It's nice. Again, we see the red now, so maybe they changed the white for red in the previous, and Panicked Altisaur is good. It's a good card. It's blocking our 4/4s. We still have a Braided Net and an Unlucky Drop, so and even like Iron Paw Aspirant to attack through it. So we can Iron Paw Aspirant and Unlucky Drop at this point. Play it there, tap, get in. So now they're at the low life total, and we have Unlucky Drop in play. So let's see what they do. I think they know that we have the Unlucky Drop, so they can't get too frisky. There's a Chupacabra Echo, so they will kill our 1/2, I'm assuming. Then that gets in. They decide not to attack with the 3/2 or the 4/5. The 4/5 is holding something back. We don't have any more counters over here, so interesting why they wouldn't. Of course, maybe they don't attack with this because an Unlucky Drop on this is like telegraphed play, and they'd rather just dome me for 2. But maybe they should have attacked with the Echo. No, they shouldn't, because if they attack, I take this away and then I draw removal. I remove the Chupacabra Echo, I get in for lethal. So this conservative play is good for them. They can jump. So that they dome for 2. That is all according to Keikaku to plan. Craft, activate, and draw cards. So I had four cards and draw a lot of cards. I can also start to push, like stay back if I want. I just go in because I know that they have to jump or trade. So yep, glad to trade over there. They draw the Altisaur, and I don't have any more removal, so that's a bit problematic. But I have Helping Hand to bring back the Iron Paw Aspirant. So that's going to be a really, really good Helping Hand. Get in. Oh, and I even like sacrifice and put counters. That is great, because now they do have to jump and not just trade. They release the Clay-Fired Bricks, and this is starting to slip out of their hands because I will flip the next turn. And Altisaur against the world can't really do much. They do have a few caves now, but I mean, a Calamitous Cave-in over here would kill these 2 things for me. but it's also not the end of the world. So I can see the Calamitous Cave-in maybe making some work over here, but self-reflection on the Altisaur. The Altisaur is holding back the Guidewing also. So Puzzle Door. Oh, I could just Puzzle Door and get the Braided Net. What happened to my Braided Net, by the way? I thought it shuffled inside. I don't know where the Braided Net is. It should be at the top of my deck. So I could like dig for it with Horaska Puzzle Door, but I am not seeing it over here, so maybe I missed the shuffling before. To get that, and I just get in, so they can eat one of my things, but then they need to release one of the Altisaurs, and the Guidewing is going to get in, so block like that. And I do have like a lot of lethal attackers over here, so makes sense. Dome for 2, and they don't have anything. Cave-in over here would possibly be saving them, but yeah, I liked how we put pressure when we had to put pressure, and despite the insane value of self-reflection with the Chupacabra Echoes, in this game they were not able to descend on time, and they paid the price. But I can see why opponent's deck would be super good and was so far in. So 5-0, doing really well. Let's go to match number 6. We're on the play. Seems like a fine hand to me, super slow, but that's what our deck does. Remove stuff and then try to win in the late game. Try to answer bombs one by one. So we will probably cycle the Boulder to try to find some action. More lands is not more action, but they did not play something on 2. White-black probably control, and they probably are also loaded on removal. We do have things to combat the removal. They also don't play anything on 3. This is going to be a great 4-drop. So tax them, unless a Tithing Blade would be pretty bad for us. But if they had like a Join the Dead, they cannot cast it now because it's ward. Okay, Brute Rage Mycoid. It does hold this back. We do get our 4/4. And do you have things to descend? It can get some value. I say definitely do not take it. Maybe I should just take it with this, but of course, like a trick would be pretty bad for me. I think we have life to do something, and also I can also use the Saw Blades. So definitely taking it because we want to activate the Saw Blades. Ooh, Preacher of the Schism. Yeah, definitely a bomb. Although a bit less scary now that we have 2 4/4s, but definitely a bomb. Horaska Puzzle Door is good for Craft Fodder and finding our things. They have their Saw Blades, so they will kill our 4/4, and they do take it rather than trade. I can totally understand that. And something I didn't know is that if we are tied on life, they get both triggers. So that is really bad. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I should have just stayed behind and they would just get to draw a card, try to trade. But I think I'm also incentivizing them to come so that I can spring-loaded Saw Blades this. Why don't I play the Puzzle Door? I should probably have played the Puzzle Door over here. Maybe I wanted to symbolize a counterspell. I don't know why I didn't play Puzzle Door over there. So yeah, they get both triggers. It's pretty bad for me. Take that out, and they're going to get also a Fungus because they descend. They get a Fungus, and they leave all their mana open. Interesting. Join the Dead. Now, so they did have a Join the Dead before, and it was good that this had Ward 2 because it was relevant on the board. Now they pay all for it, and I get to craft and play 4/4. So now they have a lot of removal. We're going to be able to grind that removal out, hopefully. Another Join the Dead. So they are putting some pressure over here. Do they have... Why they attack with these two? I don't know, because maybe they have a trick. Vito's Inquisitor. Yeah, I mean, I don't know why they attacked with both. And maybe they wanted to trigger the Descent, but Descent doesn't trigger on tokens. So glad that they attacked with that 1/1 lifelink. And I probably didn't play the Oraska puzzle door because I wanted to have it to activate the Manufactory. Now it's all coming together. So Siege of Days, good. We dig towards maybe more removal, bottom 2 planes. And what do I keep? Unlucky Drop, which is removal. And spring-loaded saw blades. Let's craft this. Try to put some more defense over here. Should hold back the 4/3. We're a bit on the back foot over here, so we need to be careful. And it's also an artifact, so we can sequence these things and make infinite artifacts, infinite 4/4s. And we're grinding their removal out very, very well. Grief Rebooter, totally irrelevant at this point in the game. They do get like several triggers, and they gonna get some counters and menace and all of that, but I don't think this is going to get through. They do craft, and they do get another fungus, so a lot of fodder for this to sack. I say like, okay, I can discover and hopefully hit an artifact because I have enough mana to also play the puzzle door. So discovering here makes a lot of sense. Attentive Subscribe, we can play that. Crew, and now one more events are missing from logs. So let's see if we scry an island to the bottom, get in. Glad to trade this for anything, even for that other 5/5. And what do they have? Harvestone Pilgrim, very grindy card, but they're not a descent deck, so they cannot stack their library so much. So at this point, and we're at a low life total, so flyers are still scary. We need to be careful right now. We do have an unlucky drop to answer this. Crewmate is good. Let's see what we find. We find Braided Net and Boulder. We can take the Braided Net because it will give us like a lot of card draw and close this game. So play that, make another 4/4. They sack. Why would they sack? I don't know why they would sack. Probably to, well, I knew that they could sack, so was not gonna attack with 4/4s, but I can make an army of 4/4s and alpha attack at some point. Yes, tap that 5/5. They can get in with a 2/5. Still not dead, so that is important. Ooh, Altic Archaeologists, and they can bring back their spring-loaded saw blades. But if I don't attack at this point, I just need to make sure I don't die to the Harvestone Pilgrim. And this can also take away things from my graveyard when I want to craft, so I gotta be careful with it. Pirate Hat does make it have 5/5. Tap this, unlucky drop that. Okay, so even though they have spring-loaded saw blades, I start to be really far ahead on board, and I think I just want to try to close out this game in 2 turns. So I understand why I can get frisky over here. Is this actually lethal? Yes, it was lethal. Good on me I was not calculating, but good thing on me checking all the math and like getting that lethal. So this making 4/4s was really, really good against their removal, and good on me on getting that lethal. Game number 2 for match 6. We are now on the draw. A lot of lands and just Guidewing and Braided Net, but Braided Net can potentially draw a lot of cards, so it is keep, hoping to not draw just lands. Okay, really good card, Warden of the Inner Sky. Not happy to see that. And Tarian's Journal. So they have some sacrifice synergies going on. The sacrifice synergies in white-black are not the best in this set, but they do have that going on. They get in, play my tap land, get another point in. Okay, it's good that they haven't played other things and they start to grow this thing. I do have this to potentially slow it down and then draw into removal. So even though this is a great card, we do have some removal. We can answer it at some point. Get in and play the Braided Net. They cycle the Land Cycler. Brood Rage Mycoid, so now they can get some synergies, and they start to grow. So sounds good, and they scry to the bottom. Not drawing a lot of action, but we play Attentive Sunscribe. We tap the 4/3, 2/1, nothing in particular important. So that's one more counter, and they have Flying and Vigilance. So definitely would like to draw some removal, and that's a removal spell. It's great to draw that. We scry another land to the bottom, remove the threat, and now Braid Net hopefully will. We have one artifact, hopefully we'll draw more. We have a land to discover. Thank goodness we have caves. Prevent that. Completely fine maybe to trade. I mean, they would exile and discover something, so I maybe just take it. I just take it, force them to be careful with when they want to discover with that. And they do sacrifice to draw and discover, so let's see what they do discover. Really Freebooter, definitely completely fine to discover. And Market Gnome. So I can see these two cards doing some work with Tarian's Journal, but yeah, they do get to descend with this. Ulti Cloud Guard, that's a good draw. So keep the Petrify on top. And with the Qualifier of Suffering, we can put two counters over here and start to pressure our opponent quite well. I guess I want to keep it for next turn to try to make it a bit, or like I also want to maybe probably like flip the Braided Net and draw a lot of cards and before sacrificing and putting pressure. So they do draw a lot of cards by sacking the Gnome. Ray of Ruin on my Ultra Cloud card. That's rude. Tap that, and they get with both, and I decide to take it. Maybe there's an argument. Yes, I don't want to trade the Guidewing because I have the Glorifier of Suffering over here. So, and Dust Roser Reliquary. No, my Braided Net. No, please. I was gonna flip it and draw cards. So that's pretty brutal for us. They continue to make funguses. This game. We have our Petrify, which I guess can answer this now that we don't have the Braided Net, but it's still going to be making funguses and also the Tarian's Journal. So Petrify not very good against the Tarian's Journal, actually. Maybe I shouldn't have kept that on the top. Oh, but I can Petrify the Tarian's Journal, so that I can do. Makes a lot of sense. Sacrifice the Gnome, put those things there, and yep, the Thousand Moon Crackshot, not cutting it here, putting some pressure on opponents. So they do have to draw things, and I do have a discover land in case I still draw lands. Oh, Bartolome. Bartolome can sack the Petrified thing, the Greedy Freebooter, so they're getting some synergies going on. And Petrify my 2/2. That's bad, because that was the main threat that I had. I wonder why they don't Petrify my Glorifier of Suffering. Yeah, I have the only threat. That's completely fine. I have to block some things over here. They do get some extra damage. And the funguses, so they got some, not just cute things, but like also pretty good things going on. I need to find some removal for Bartolome. That is not removal. I love Awoken Siren, but this is not the place to draw it. So let's see if we can find some removal of some sorts. Not removal, and also not a good thing to draw now that my Guidewing is petrified. It is a 4/4, and I cannot get in because this could potentially sack a lot of things at instant speed. So this Bartolome is making my life miserable at this point. Sack thing, sack more things, and more sack fodder. So they have this engine going on, and it's pretty powerful at this point. Puzzledor, please draw me into some removal. Okay, Clay-Fired Bricks is not removal. And I decide to bottom the Boulder instead. Yeah, the Boulder is not killing Bartolome at this point. They just sack things and they get out of range. So I do need to make something happen with Clay-Fired Bricks. Open Siren, so at least this can be potentially an attacker now with when this flips. So they start to attack. And here I just jump. Should I So this being 6 power is bad for me to try to trade with these two. And I guess I didn't want to die to a trick. I guess I just jump over here and threaten to attack for a lot of damage. So that's why I'm just jump blocking over there. They sack the treasure, sack a fungus, and sack another fungus. So I'm taking 8 damage. That's pretty rough. So flip and get in with everything. So they need to have some removal here, otherwise they're dead. Spring-loaded saw blades can answer this, so I keep it on the top. They have their own spring saw blades. That's pretty bad, but they're still like very close to dead. So they craft and they get in with an 8/7. I need to jump block. And okay, and this is saw blades was bad here because now I cannot answer this. Get in, they're at 1. Maybe I should have just gone for it. Attack with everything. Of course, if they have removal in hand, then I lose. But I think I should have just attacked with everything and gone for it. I cannot win against this Bartolome, and the spring-loaded saw blades are not doing much. This went in, so possibly I could have just gone for it, for that lethal. Need to continue jump blocking. Attack, they sack the... And I attack, and now they have the whirlwind, the whirlpool. So I think, I guess I threw this game because I should have done it before. Now we bottom Helping Hand and Island and keep on top the boulder to answer this and potentially attack for lethal, but this is starting to get pretty hard for us. Gets in, we still need to jump block, like double blocking is not going to do it because they just sack. I guess they could have crewed and double blocked and they would need to give the Mycot and they would, but then they can also like sack this and get completely out of range. I'm not happy with how I'm navigating this. They're just at 1 life, but they have now a lot of stuff. And Boulder is not crossing the finish line at this point. They sack, crew. Okay. But Bartolome is just almost killing me. Tithing Blade to craft it. And I just draw land. So I think I threw this game by not being a bit more brave. Definitely some gameplay actions on those combats, but this Bartolome and the Brute Rage Mycot were like really making my life miserable this game. So we still have the 3rd game. We go for it. And this is a great hand. So Siren on the opener is what I want to see, and also Puzzle Door. So potentially ramping to Master Guide Mural. So great opener. They have the Greedy Freebooter, so they do have like a lot of synergies with this card, so I'm not going to say that it's bad in their deck. It's pretty good. Okay, and Clay-Fired Bricks can draw us the planes, and I can also pay it with Siren, so that's a great draw. There's the journal, so they get to have some synergies and treasure and draw cards, so fine by me. I decide to go for the play where I'm aggressive and I play the Cataract and then the Puzzle Door can crack the Puzzle Door. So, but maybe I could have played the Clay-Fired Bricks and then the Aspirant, but I think I just go for it. And if they have a Tithing Blade, I can now sack this. So they sack the Treasure, Captivating Cave. So they're missing white, but now they can filter for that. And we draw a Plains and we bottom the Crack Shot. So the next turn, we're playing the Master's Card Mural. No, we're not, because Join the Dead comes to the rescue for them. But we are setting up self back for the plan, and I do like getting an open siren for helping hand. It is now a 1/2 again, but it is ramping towards 7 mana on Clayfired Bricks and Master's Guiding Heroes. So Brood Rage my card. Again, we've seen this do a lot of work with Tarian's Journal. So that gets in, make a 4/4. They get a planes from the Pain Cycler and they do descend, so that is also helpful for the Tarian's Journal. So they have these cute things going on. I'd rather kill this, but I do want to. I should probably attack first. I think I just want to give the opponents the opportunity to answer or get priority, because I do want to like flip this already. So I said like whatever, 1 damage is fine. Make 4/4. They have a Whirlpool, but the Whirlpool would not have killed me on the attack. So I said like, okay, sure, you can have 1 extra damage, but now I have this engine of mine going on, and if you have a lot of removal, that's not going to be good for you. Okay, they do get to exile this, so that's pretty bad for me. I really wanted my engine, and this is making a lot of funguses. I just say like, you know what, it's time that gets out of the way. Saw Blades, yes. So they do have the removal for a lot of our stuff, and they do get to draw more things. Altec Archaeologists gets, they have to scry 3. They don't have any artifacts in the graveyard, so that's good for us. Crewmate, find the Roaming Throne. Roaming Throne is great. Getting for 1. Grind the game. Ray of Ruin on with Roaming Throne. Fair enough. They do have the mana for that. And they sack the Stream-Loaded Saw Blades. Makes sense, although crafting it to hold things back could be interesting, but they do need to answer the Siren. So this Tarian's Journal doing a lot of stuff. Yep, we flip the Clayfired Bricks and get in. So now we're also going wide. We have some removal. Clayfired Bricks is so good. Another Archaeologists. I see. That makes a lot of sense that they now get the Saw Blades back. That's why they sacked it. And I'm not in a lot of hurry. So attack gets Join the Dead, Miner's Guidewing, and Braided Net. So it's just really good that both Siren and Guidewing are vigilant. So I'm no rush to give them value with this, unless it's lethal. So at the end of the turn, tap, kill that, and now it's almost time to get super aggressive. Right now, the Saw Blades does absolutely nothing. Yep, flip and get a lot of cards, a lot of lands, but Join the Dead and Saw Blades. So all of the removal is out of their hand. They are the low life total. They're still in the game, but looking worse for them. And Crackshot also tapping something else is almost bad for them. They have Atlasots, Tomb of Atlasots from Tarian's Journal. You may cast a creature spell from your graveyard this turn. If you do, it enters the battle with the finality counter on it. So they did activate the Tarian's Journal. And what do they bring back? Okay, that does keep them in the game. Oh, this card is not good. This card is pretty bad, no matter the synergies. They equip. They do have Vigilance, so they do get 4 damage there, but this is looking pretty bad for them. And I do have a Petrify, so this is GG. Yep, it is, because then I tap the other Dino and we get in. So another super grindy match. Game 2, I think I threw. Could have probably won it if I am just a bit more courageous, and that Bartolome got super out of hand. And in this third game, they removed our engine with the Dusk-Rose Reliquary, which was a very easy win there. But we just still got through the line with Clayfired Bricks and going wide. So yeah, good on us. 6-0. playing tight except for that game, and just one more victory is what we need at this point to get 7 wins and qualify for day 2. So definitely very exciting. Let's move to the next game, the next match. All right, we are 6-0. We need one more match victory, and we get to qualify for day 2 of the qualifier. So let's go into match 7, and we have this opener, and this opener is really clunky because the first play is on turn 5, and helping hand is kind of a mulligan. We have 5 lands, but we are a deck that's trying to go into the late game. So should we keep? Should we not keep? This is a tough decision to make. I end up keeping, but I could see mulliganing. Play a tap land. They also play a tap land. Pirate Hat, not the 2-drop that we want, but it is something that we can spend our mana on. But definitely would be better if we can get another creature now. The Pirate Hat can help us filter those extra lands that we draw. So not optimal, but we need to find something here. Compass Gnome, completely fine, and they failed to, not that they failed, but they decided not to draw anything, so just a Goblin Piker. Nice to see that. Roaming Throne, okay, that is something to play, not for this turn, but for next turn. And Roaming Throne has not been too shy to appear, and he's been a very solid card to put into the ground that dodges like early game removal. But we do need to take some 2 points of damage over here. Plundering Pirate, fine, and being able to play the Roaming Throne, it should be a brick wall against these 2 creatures. Let's see if they have any tricks. Captivating Cave, okay, so are they potentially splashing with a treasure and the cave? And the gnome, the gnome would also have fetched a splash land, no? But they didn't fetch a splash land. So interesting why they would play Captivating Cave, or maybe they're hiding their basic or their cave over there. What can I say? We do play our 4/4 over here, and we just say go. I don't want to trade Roaming Throne for these 2 creatures. We might draw a Nultic Cloud Guard and get 2 gnomes instead, or like the crewmate and get 2 triggers. So okay, we hadn't seen this bomb yet, but this is a bomb. So 7/6 trample, but it also discovers 5. Not a nice card to see. We do have Unlucky Drop would not be a good removal against this because the enter the battlefield is too powerful. What do they discover? Otaclan Landmark. It's fine that they discover this and they keep 1 on top and 1 on bottom. This is now a problem. We do have these 2 things to block with and potentially this, but this is not looking good for us with this. And they can potentially craft this and give it flying and start to make us in a pain. So we need to draw well over here. That's a nice card to draw. And so first play Fired Bricks to get our planes. And we are getting close to crafting with this and trying to, if we get a late game over here, we can combat this over here. And then the Braided Net. And I'm going to tap the 7/6 and potentially then get in with these cards. Having an Unlucky Drop means that if they double block anything, I can get a good blowout. So tap that on attacks. Oh no, 2 mil, the Inner Sun. So opponent has 2 mythics over here. Is that a mythic? I think it is a mythic, but maybe I'm confused and it's a rare. No, it looks like it's a rare. Chimil is very annoying. We don't have counter spells in our deck, but it's good to know that we cannot board in counter spells. At the beginning of your end step, discover 5. Our way of dealing with bombs in our deck is 1/1 removal. This cannot be answered with 1/1 removal. I don't think any of our removal hits artifacts. We don't have a Dust Rose Reliquary, I don't think. And this is a bomb that we cannot answer 1/1. So really unfavored for this game. And if they do draw it in the match, also really bad for us. So that is sad to see that. And what do they discover? O3, that's fine that they discover that, but it's not, the problem is not that they whiff now, or they've kind of whiffed twice, but they're going to continue to discover 5 forever, right? So will we be able to keep up with a steady line of 4/4s? Well, we can start by crafting. I do get in, we get a double block, and I decide, oh, okay, so the double block now allows me to craft, and that's what I exactly do. So get an extra 4/4, and then I can flip this, get more 4/4s. There is a way to push damage as long as this doesn't discover too many good cards. Tap the 7/6, Panicked Altisaur. Good card, but it's not going to be able to hold back once I flip the clay-fired bricks. And we might need to craft with this Pirate Hat, since we don't have anything else on the graveyard. Spring-loaded Saw Blades, that hurts on our 4/4, but not the end of the world. And what do they discover with Chimil? Akalpakal. All right, so they are splashing in their white-red. That is not a card that is nice to see. And they didn't look for an island, interestingly. They do have treasure from the Plundering Pirate and Captivating Cave, but no island. That's kind of strange. Why they would play it without a splashed island and the gnome, but that's just how it goes. That's terrible news for us. This card is also really, really good, and they're going to get cards infinitely. So that's what they discover. I have to craft with clay-fired bricks, and I do change with the Pirate Hat. The Pirate Hat would have been a nice thing to equip, and then maybe potentially, if they keep these on defense, then the 5/5 can enter as a 6/6. Again, the unlucky drop not good against their 7/6. Create another 5/5, get in. They jump and get back. I'm surprised how much this card has underperformed, because it reads so well the Market Gnome for crafting and keeping things in bay, and then just at some point sacrificing it. But it's just like an O3, if it's not being sacked or jumping, it's not doing anything. So that's why the card has underperformed so badly in this set. So tap that, and we can hopefully like draw a lot of cards. So we have a lot of artifacts. This is being super annoying with these bombs. Tinker's Toad, that's gonna gum up the ground even more. Not good news for us. They craft with that. At least I can unlucky drop the Levitator so that we don't die. And also they have a Panicked Altisaur, so they can start to dome us. Dig-side Conservator is completely fine, but what is not fine is these rare bombs. Like our opponent has shown quite some stupid cards. So now they're gonna refill their hand, discover something new. A Braid? No. We needed this to continue in the late game, and they destroy our engine. Pretty bad for us, and they mail a Breaches. Okay, so whatever they have decided to take in is better than Breaches. Also, by the way, why does opponent also have Breaches? This is kind of insane and ridiculous. But at this point, I remember being in this stage of the game and thinking, well, I'm not going to be able to punch through. They have way too much stuff. This is discovering them and drawing them every turn. But this has the thing that it's not optional. The trigger is not optional, so they have to bin one card and put another card in hand, and this is also not optional to discover. So they are drawing a lot of cards each turn. They are 18. I'm going to draw a lot of cards with Braided Net. So how about I just keep my cool and hold back and try to say like, okay, the milling race I'm winning. I cannot kill them right now, but they need to kill me. And I need to deal with this Levitator because I will get killed in 2 shots with the Altisaur and the Trumpeting Carnosaur. So like that's the new plan. I remember being in this game and saying like, okay, impossible to punch through. I have a good late game, but opponent has an even better late game, the best way to do is to try to mill them out. So that's the new plan. We do draw Quicksand Whirlpool, which will be a nice answer to the Carnosaur. So let's first, I can craft with the mural over here. So we craft and we draw our cards. And it's really nice to draw all of these cards. But still, are we able to punch through with all of this? I'm not sure. Play things, play puzzle door. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to have to discard one card at the end of the turn. But I can discard a land at this point without a big problem. And I'm trying to hold back over here. So take 2. And this is going to get over and deal me 8. I can take 1 hit of these, but not more than this. So that gets flying. Take 8. They craft. End of turn, discover. Well, first of all, they bin a plains and they get another card in hand and they discover Clayfired Brick. So opponent just has all the goodies in this deck. It's incredible. But yeah, now they're going to have their own anthem to their whole team. Crack. Get a aspirant. It's fine over the land. So that's the plan. They have to mill out. They are drawing like 4 cards a turn. They can also decide not to put an artifact in play, and then this would not trigger, but they're still drawing at least 2 cards a game. So I have plenty of removal. Let's try to hold back. We have things on the ground to hold back, so that's the idea. And we have Braided Net. So we put that in play. We put the Braided Net here and the Iron Paw Aspirant. So first deploying things to the board and then have some removal in hand. The Braided Net is going to keep this in check. And we're trying to hold things back with the Autoclan Levitator with this flyer. Or we can also just tap the flyer if they remove the 5/4. So the turn comes in. They have a lot of cards in hand because of their bombs. So they sack and then they get the Anthem. They crew. And then before attacks, I tap the 2/5. So come at me, bro. Come at me, bro. They are tapped out, so I have to align blocks somehow. They attack with 8/7 and 6/6. So trading one of these for the Carnosaur is fine, and trading my Cloud Guard for the 6/6 is completely fine also. No other surprises. Oh, and by the way, they didn't dome me with the Altisaur last turn. I should be at 8. I guess when you have so many good cards, you can misplay, right, opponent? Buried Treasure is not a good card, but I guess it just also is another thing that can ramp to Chimil and Carnosaur. So, I mean, it is definitely playable in this deck if you have such a high card quality. And this also triggers Akal Pakal and Chimil. So I don't know if opponents should be worried because they are drawing 4 cards a turn. They bin an island. Oh, so they did have an island, but they failed to fetch it with the gnome before. Interesting. And what do they discover? They discover a Rumbling Rock Slide, so kill my 5/2, presumably. My 5/5, and that took 3 damage. Okay, Boulder is important to kill the 5/6, which is the only thing that is pressuring us at this point. So that goes, and we get to... I sacrifice the 2/3 Iron Paw Aspirant, so I get a target for Helping Hand also, put things on the ground, Helping Hand, put this back. And again, they have a lot of things, but I have good blocks on the ground, so that's the plan again. And I can also activate probably Brave Net to try. Even though this has drawn me so many cards and I had such a good late game, opponent somehow has better late game than me. So that's a testament to how powerful it is. So tap that. 3/5. Yeah, I'm weak to flyers at this point, so I'm fine that they play all of that. And they still play an artifact. They shouldn't have been playing this artifact. Unless they can... If they have... I do need to make sure that they don't have the 2/5 Ward 2 that can put things from the graveyard into their deck. But if they do show that, I have the Whirlpool to answer that. But they are still going to draw 4 cards at the end of the turn. So can they kill me? They discover the Diamond Pickaxe. That is completely fine. So they have 2 turns. They have the next turn, and then, well, they still have turns if they don't play an artifact, but they shouldn't have played the previous one. So I need to answer the Sandwing somehow. Crewmate. So we discover all of this. We have the Siren, which can also act as a jump blocker. So we play the Siren. And we wait. We're probably going to unlucky drop the Sandwing, because it's a lot of mana for them to play it. So Quicksand Whirlpool on our jump blocker. And the events are now missing, but we unlucky drop the 2/5 and we tap the 4/6. So that's a good thing to make them discover or craft again. Unlucky drop, playing a bit against our plan of putting things into their deck, but they discover. So I'm fine with them discovering this. They bottom 2, and they did not play an artifact. So, but still they're drawing 2 a turn. So the clock is quite soon. So craft again, draw a million cards. This is good. We draw removal. We are low on cards, but they are even lower. So, and we have also petrified to answer the 2/5 War 2 if they have it. Whirlpool on the flyer. Okay, the pop is annoying, so they save it, but they still need time, and I still have a petrify and the boulder to answer the flyer. So 1,000 Moons crack shot. Come at me, bro. You need to kill me. That does come in as a 2/5, and they equip it. But because they crafted it, that triggers, and that's not very good for them, because they are now really, really low on cards. And Discover is also going to take the last card from their deck. They put it in their hand, and that card is an island. Is it? I don't know. Maybe the events are mixed up. Boulder on the 3/6. Important to remove that, otherwise I could be dead, and put it on the flyer, and opponent surrenders. All right. Hard to believe that I won that game with all the nonsense that the opponent put into play, but playing super tightly and with a good plan, correctly identifying that I'm no longer the aggressor and that the plan is to mill. And Akal Pakal, super powerful card, but it also has that risk of milling yourself, and it paid this time. All right, so going into the next 2 games, how am I going to beat Chimil? Do I have something in the sideboard to beat Chimil? Petrify does not answer that because it's a triggered ability. Nothing in white. And nothing in blue. Ray of Ruin doesn't answer Chimil because it's not a vehicle. I would need to dip into green probably. Over the edge. So that's the only answer I have to Chimil in my deck. Do I want to splash? Do I have something that's colorless? Sorcerer Spyglass also doesn't answer it because it's a triggered ability. Yep. The only thing that answers it is Over the Edge in my pool. Don't even have that built, but would I splash green just for Over the Edge as an answer to Chimil? Very risky. They might not draw the card, so it was pointless to splash it. They might draw it, and I don't draw the forests, or I don't draw the splash card. So again, it's pointless. It's just one card. The best way to do it is to pray that they don't draw the card, pray that they don't draw Breaches and Akal Pakal and all the other crap and the Carnosaur. Our opponent's deck is just insane, and they hit the jackpot probably with their pool. But still, we are 1 game up. Let's try to close it and close our qualification. So game 2. This time we are on the draw, and this opening hand is slightly better than the previous one. We do have removal, again helping hand in the opener, very awkward, and just a 2/2. Also, by the way, I cannot really side in into anything else. I don't have an aggro deck that I could try to aggro the opponent down, seeing that my late game is worse than their late game. But I just don't have a pool to support that. So will they fall again for putting a Kalpakal and milling themselves out? There is a chance. Don't like my chances in this matchup, but we need to play it and try to do it. The landmark is pretty good in their deck because getting a 1/4. First, it scries towards their bombs, and they have a lot of bombs. So I would definitely play it in their deck. Tap land. Wonderglyph. Amazing card. One of my favorites also in the set. They will dig them towards their bombs. Let's try to trade with it. We do try to trade, and that's good that they trade. They discarded a plains. And they can already craft with it. I mean, it's fine that they crafted already. We can helping hand and get back the 2/2. It's better than not spending mana. And also plays to the board. Tinker Stoat, so I'm happy that I have this to block these things so I don't get into too much pressure. And we draw an extra island, I believe. Yeah, we draw an extra island. We saw 2 islands, so bottom 1 and draw an extra island. Hopefully we can find some action. No, we're still drawing lands. Petrify in the 1/4. I don't want to start to take a lot of damage, and also this is going to be a problem in the future anyway, so fine with that. Pop. Okay, Pop is really bad for us. I guess I forgot about that card, or like I just don't want to start taking too much damage. But yeah, they get to scry again, 1 top and 1 bottom. They probably are close to their bombs, and we're not drawing enough over here. And Altisor is not their bomb, but it's also pretty good over here. We can answer it and try to pick in, but this is looking a bit grim for us. Even if they haven't drawn anything, it's just a matter of time that they draw things. And yep, there is Jamil, and they discover a 4/4. Pretty bad for us. We don't have a removal. Okay, we can. Well, I decided to crack because that's more mana efficient than Sage of Days, but Sage of Days at least will hopefully dig us towards some action. Iron Aspirant is not what we want. They have a 4/4 on the. That's kind of annoying for us. And can they also craft? They can craft with Tinker Stoat, so this Guidewing is not gonna be doing much, sadly. That's the island that they drew, but they have Jamil, and this just starts to get out of hand. They draw a lot of cards. So what can we dig towards? We bottomed Cloud Guard, and we kept the Pirate Hat. The idea probably is to equip a Pirate Hat on a flyer and Oaken Siren to try to hold back some of this. The Alta Cloud Guard, maybe Alta Cloud Guard could have been good, but the Pirate Hat also will also allow us maybe to filter. So I'm kind of in a desperate situation. They've resolved Jamil, and this time the opponent is going to be more aware about blocking. So block some damage, kill the pup. Deconstruction Hammer. I mean, at this point, it kind of doesn't matter if they whiff a lot with the discard because they're just drawing a lot of cards. Pirate Hat, we do get to filter. Oh, no, whatever. We don't get to filter the island, sadly. We do explore, and we take another land out of deck, but we are slowly dying over here. One more hit, and we are dead. They have another Angel. They discover the Gnome. So they didn't discover a lot of good cards with Jamil, but this is just like so hopeless. I don't have any more flyers. And they put in some extra flyers, so maybe they had them in the sideboard. We didn't see the Angels last game, so they probably were like, okay, I need flyers to close out the game, so good for them. And they just needed to resolve 1 bomb to get us there. And we also didn't draw a lot of action. Maybe having drawn the late game things could have helped us pressure a bit, but with these many flyers, we need to answer them a bit earlier and hope that they don't draw ever Jamil. So go to match 3. Sadly, our forecast of like having a tough time against this deck is being true. And this is a great hand. So we have a staunch crewmate on 2, and also things to continue, and like all our colors. So this is a good hand, and we're on the play. So let's see if we are a bit lucky this time. Don't like to see that because they dig towards their bombs and they keep 2 on top. So presumably they have the bombs there already. We dig towards the pirate hat. So this also helps us filter. Not too bad. Wondercliff is a good card for them. Again, we bottom Roaming Throne and Glorifier, and we keep Clay-Fired Bricks. So hoping to try to aggro them out. Maybe I should have tried to get the Roaming Throne on top. Don't know how much I like this. Maybe my plan should be like try to aggro them out and keep the Roaming Throne on top. Because if I name Human, I can also trigger this twice, or I can name a Warrior and get 2 extra counters. It's definitely not Glorifier the correct choice, but Roaming Throne or Clay-Fired Bricks. I mean, I have a lot of lands, so maybe that's the idea, but seeing this right now, maybe getting the Roaming Throne would have been better. Get in. And they have breaches on 3, so that's really bad news for us. Really bad news because it has first strike, so I cannot even attack with this, and they don't even like attack with the Wonderglyph. They don't want to trade it. Get a plains, get a 2/2, but now this we don't have removal for breaches, and this is going to start to spiral out of control for us. They create a treasure, presumably ramping. We take it, Kixite Conservator, and they keep mana up, so they maybe have an Abrade or sorts. Pirate Hat, equip on the Staunch Crewmate, and on the Sage of Days, get in. This definitely is I'm trying to aggro them out, then maybe the throne would have been better, but spring-loaded Sawblades, so we saw that card. It hurts. They trade our stuff, and they cannot activate that, but we are against the breaches, who is making our life miserable. They exile and play the land. They craft. Pirate Hat in. We don't even get to do anything over here. Breaches continues to do insane things. Deconstruction, hammer. They even destroy our Clay-Fired Bricks. We finally get to answer breaches, and we answer, so there's a slight possibility, but they are also going to be able to craft with this, so it's not like we are in a good spot. They are too high life total. Activate, put the Pirate Hat in, attack. So what do they have? The pup. Okay, that pup has been really good for them, so they pick up the spring-loaded Sawblades and kill again my thing. And that's also interesting that they didn't craft before, because they had open mana over here, and they passed the turn without crafting. So very suspicious that they didn't craft, and we can see why. It's because they have the pup. Put the Pirate Hat in. They do craft another 4/4, so we cannot even get in anymore. That's really bad for us. We need to discover. Cloud Guy is great discover, but we're having a problem with over here. 5/5 comes in. We need to take it. We don't want to like trade these two. I want to equip the Pirate Hat on this, filter another land, and 4/5. So we are just like almost. So that needs to get in. They do take it, and we are starting to get super low on life. 4/5. I'm trying to draw a meteor, probably. So that if I draw the meteor, I can then attack this, but I'm also dead. So they didn't draw Chimel this time around, but they did have breaches on 3, removal for them, and breaches just completely owned that game. So it was not the other 2 bombs that they had, but the bomb on 3. So very sad. We couldn't win the early game. We couldn't win the late game. I played some of my best Magic on the first game by changing gears, turning the plan to the mill plan, and winning that game. But sadly, this is best of 3. And even with not super tight gameplay from the opponent, they just have an insane deck, and they do have some pretty good flyers also that they could side in. And we lose this match, sadly. So we are not allowed to lose anything else. We are 6-1, and we need a victory to qualify for day 2. So match 8, it is our last match. And let's see if we can get that W, that win, and qualify for day 2. This is a great hand. Clayfire Bricks, Braid Net, and Cloud Guard. So we are on the play. So hopefully nothing too aggro from our opponent. They are playing Captivating Cave, so apparently not super aggro either. Clayfire Bricks, get me that land. That will help me curve. Braid Net, Alter Cloud Guard, and Master Guy's Mural. So I'm liking this. They cycle the bristling, nurturing Bristleback. So they're maybe mid-range dinos, splashing something. Oh, not that card. Deep Cavern Bat is so good. Really bad for us. That card is so good for us because we only have really the Whirlpool and the Meteors. Like the Braided Net doesn't answer it well. The Petrifies are embarrassing against it. So they disrupt our curve and they take the Braided Net, which was the play that we wanted to do. And I have to play a sad 3-2 onto the board. It's not going to be, this guy's not going to be doing something much at this point, but I do need to play to the board, try to put some pressure. Maybe I can play the Pirate Hat or whatever. But better than playing the Pirate Hat and not doing anything, because even if this doesn't get an attack in, the 3-2 will hopefully at some point trade or something. So Axjo, good card. So yeah, this now is holding back this 4-3. So happy that I played that. That starts to swing their game in their favor with the lifelink, and they have a swamp. So they're playing Jund of some sorts, and with a pretty good uncommon over here. Player Cloud Guard, see where this goes. So at least I'm blocking in the air now. Twists and turns. Okay, so they're trying to get a counter, and they do keep on top the Italy's favor. So yep, good cards. And now this is not going to trade with that. Sunfire Torch, pretty good against my Alter Cloud Guard. Alter Cloud Guard dies. And they even get like +2 life because the Torch is the creature doing the damage. Good with Death Touch, by the way. And yeah, I need to hope they don't have a trick, pretty much. They don't. And I need some removal against the Deep Cavern Bat. At least I can play my 4-4 over here. Italy's favors. So again, I do have Whirlpool and 2 Meteor Boulders. So hopefully I find something that they high roll, of course, get a 3-drop. And Poison Dart Frog. So opponent's deck is looking pretty good. I would play something of the sorts too. And now we need some action. Boulder. Okay. Thank you for that. Get our Braided Net back. Bye Bat. And this we need to hold back. We are not winning a theoretical race at this point, so we need to try and flip these things, win the late game. Cavern Stomper, pretty good card. They keep 2 on the top, so they're not lands. They are probably good cards. We need to try to get this as fast as possible. So get a 4-4. I don't know if I want to trade, or like if they attack with the 7-7, I don't know if I want to put 2 4-4s in play, because they could have a trick or a removal or whatsoever. So I'm just going to take the 7-7, scry 1 to the top, and so that triggers scry to the top, and then they draw a land. And they don't attack, so they don't have a trick. That's great news for us that they don't attack. So they don't have a trick, they don't have interaction to kill one of the golems, so these 2 golems have done their job keeping the 7-7 back. Great news for us. Put the Braided Net in, make another 4-4, play our land, And we also have Whirlpool now, so if they do attack, if they do draw a trick or removal and they attack, we can just put everything there. They fire the removal, we just kill the Cavern Stomper. So we now have the engine going. This can also flip at some point. We don't have craft fodder so far, but we can craft this and trigger this with a lot of cards. So our late game is looking better than theirs so far. They do get this flipped land, Mycoid Maze, so they can draw cards, draw creatures. Cavern Stomper is really good for them. Not Stomper, the Earthshaker Dreadmaw, because they're gonna draw 2 cards. That's sad news for us. Tap. Oh, tap. Nice. So tap and Whirlpool the 7/7, which we wanted to do anyway. So they draw 1 less card. Great play by me on that. They attack with a 4/4. If they have a staggering size or whatever, or like a removal, I'm gonna put all of those in. Definitely fine with me. So the 4/4s are doing the Lord's work over here. It was not a meteor, so we cannot craft yet, but we can play the Pirate Hat, and we can make another 4/4 and equip that. And I decided to play the Sunscribe. Maybe I should keep it to flip to continue to get these things, but I'm planning on flipping this as soon as possible, so I'm not super worried about that. They activate and draw a Belligerent Yearling. Good card, but probably not enough for the late game at this point, so tap that 6/6. Okay, Triumphant Chomp. So our opponent has pretty good cards, but we're happy that they are wasting their removal, or like we are. We can outgrind that removal pretty well. Siren. So now I decide to craft. Probably with the Pirate Hat. Yep, with the Pirate Hat, get more things, get another one, and we can start to get in. We bottom the island. They do have this. This is why Potion Dart Frolic is so good. It's like in the late game, it also trades with a big thing. And they take damage, but I'm liking my chances over here. This can get in, not a problem, or like it's going to get tapped anyway. Tap. What else do they discover? Okay, they have Bedrock Tortoise, absolutely amazing card also. They put it in play. It's going to be annoying to get through this, but still not enough, I don't think, to beat my late game over here. So we discover Sun's Crewmate and get a Boulder, which answers the 6/6 or any of these 6/6s. Play the Siren, make another one, pass. They need to do more. Wow, their deck is also super stacked. The Paleontologist is so good also. It's like a better frog. Their deck is also amazing, but of course we're in the last stretch, and like of course our opponent's decks are going to be really good. They do crack that and get a 2/8, so now this is resistant to our Boulder. That's important for us to know. We do kill that and make another one, and our late game is starting to look like, okay, they're going to need something because we have a lot of stuff on the board, and we also have like something picking. So what are you going to do? They activate the ability and they play this other one. I think they should have played the Cavern Stomper. Oh, but the Cavern Stomper is exiled, right? Yeah, the Cavern Stomper is exiled with a Whirlwind. Okay, so they played that because it's the mana that they could get. 6/2, but they don't attack with it because they are really, really behind. Craft. Put another one in play. And I think I think like, okay, this is lethal, right? Because I could draw like a million cards with this, but I just get in, tap that. They have to jump block, draw a million cards. Yeah, maybe I could have taken it a bit slower and wait one extra turn, but I guess I didn't want them to continue to recur. But this is also like they draw the Ray of Ruin that we knew that they had because of the Explore, but yeah, outgrinded them with our late game. This matchup could go either way. If we don't draw our late game, They have some absolutely bangers of cards with Paleontologist, the Bedrock Tortoise, some really good uncommons and commons, also the Bat. So we are one game up, though. We are one game up. Game 2 on the draw. This is a great hand. 2 excellent things to play on 2. Hopefully we get some lands. We also get some removal. We keep this mountain. We even get a turn 1 play. Ooh, Sahili. So they also have this card. But they were playing Jund. So did they swap their deck? I guess they did, because otherwise why would they play like a... It's a 2-mana 2/2, and for that they need more islands and stuff. So Staunch Crewmate. We see these things. We get the boulder. Nice to get more removal. Get in. Okay, yeah. So they have done this deck swap to blue-red. So presumably because it's more aggro, they saw that our late game was awesome, and they think that our late game is better. Not a super good card. They Cyclo Raptor. They keep that on top. We draw Roaming Throne, which is excellent. He hasn't been shy, so it's great to have that. Continue to pick, and so like, okay, they're trying to aggro me down, right? So we have removal, we have things, so we can try to take it a bit slow. So they attack with a 2/3. No need to risk this to like whatever, like a trick or whatever. We have plenty of life. Cyclo Raptor is pretty good. We need to be careful not to play things on their turn to take 4 to face. Not drawing a land is sad news. We do get to pick 2 over here, and we do get to play a 4/4 named Human, and that is good. They also have missed land drops, by the way, so they have gas. You need to be careful. They draw a land, and they activate Sahili with a 4/3. They attack with everything. And at this point, I say, like, okay, show me your trick if you have one, or an Abrade or whatever, but I cannot take 8. And they do have Brackish Blunder, so that dies. If they bounced my thing, then I would get 2 triggers, so that is correct. But at least they haven't added to the board. Like, I need to be careful with Sahili. We can always petrify it. Drawing the land is important. Helping hand. Oh, yeah. That's why I didn't mind like trading, because I had the helping hand, and now this is triggering twice. So this comes back. 1 triggers Puzzle Door and Master's Guide Mural. Probably the Puzzle Door or like the Master's Guide Mural. Yep, Master's Guide Mural, because I can cast it with this. And what else do we see? Pirate Hat, also a welcome addition. Petrify Sahili, that's good, and play another Might, the other Guidewing. Did we have another one? Or how come we drew? Do we have 2 Guidewings? We only have 1. And didn't the Guidewing die before? Oh, it was returned to our hand with a Brackish Blunder. My bad. There's too many things happening in this set. So I even get frisky. I say like, okay, you know what? I have removal. They do have something on the board. So maybe this is risky. Maybe I should just be holding back and trying to trade this. But that also leaves me like, okay, if they find another trick, then blocking is also bad. So put the pressure on them. But it could go sideways for us. So I just decided to take this. Chart a course. Draw 2 more cards. Land, Dixite Conservator. Not super powerful. Oh, Triumphant Jump. That's good for them. They killed my Siren. No, we needed that to play this. We do draw a land, so we can get in with the mural. We put more pressure. Master's Guide Mural, and now we're gonna be blocking over here. And I decide to block just with that is like, okay, if you want to trick it, completely fine. Okay, and that leaves. It's important that Cycloraptor leaves the battlefield because I want to have access to these things at instant speed. And they keep all their mana open. Interesting. Play more lands. And now I say, like, I don't mind. I guess they can discover, but I also have like Pirate Hat and Runaway Boulder. So they do double block. Unlucky drop, because I want to play the Pirate Hat. This works out nicely for me, Pirate Hat. Oh no, this card is not very good. Hurl into history. Counter my spell and discover 2. It's a good thing then that I didn't play the Boulder. This card was not on my radar, so I'm happy that I played the unlucky drop. The Boulder would have been really nasty if they discover 6. So I was lucky here that I played around something that I didn't know was so good. And they do get a Needle, but they cannot target this because it has Ward 2. This game is slowly slipping away from my opponent's hands. I even go ahead and sack my 2-1 to put 2 counters and opponent concedes. We made it. We made it. 7 wins. On day 1, we go to day 2 with a super subpar pool. Not a good deck. We did have a few cards that were good in the late game with like the Braided Net, the Clay-Fired Bricks, and the Mastercard's Mural. But very subpar cards, only 2 decent rares with Throne and Braided Net. Let's bring up the deck again. So just these 2 rares, which are great cards, but nothing super game ending. This drew cards a lot, so I'm not complaining. I'm also not complaining that Roaming Throne appeared quite often. We did have some good removal, Petrify, Loaded Saw Blades, clunky removal, but which also played well on the deck's plan. Crewmate also not complaining, but again, compared to the insane and ridiculous things that we were seeing from opponents, this deck was definitely worse than most of the decks, and we were able to beat them. Interesting, the swap that they made over here. They did seem to have good enough cards to do this swap, but I definitely would not like to be playing Hurl into History in aggro. They also did only show us the Cycloraptor. Sahili is a good card, but also not like an insane bomb or anything, and we were able to answer it. I think if I were opponent, maybe I would have stayed also on their Junt. They had better cards, but also my deck is good against their bombs, so I understand that they went for the more aggro route, and I just had like good draws in this game. So, and I played around Hurl into History well by not playing the Boulder, which was probably more mana efficient, but I just said like, okay, I wanna play the Pirate Hat instead and keep the Boulder to maybe answer something permanently. And that prevented discovering 6, which could have been pretty bad. I mean, they would have probably still discovered the Needle, I'm not sure. But yeah, super proud of how this run went, how I qualified for day 2 with the tools that we had, this pool, very, very subpar. And insane games, some of the best Magic the Gathering that I have ever played. And we went to day 2, so stay tuned to see how the next pool and the next run happened. But thanks for watching all of this if you've done so, and see you next time.